Shazam. Other spiffing words meaning loud exclamation. I don't know if you got the full POW Shazam combo there. But it was enthusiastic, to say the very least. Oh, hot shit, Fearless! Pachow! See, there's a pachow. First! You're gonna have to like this video. Alright, let's update the board! Oh shit, alright, Fearless, that puts you in the Chaunerus or Trazzini ahead bracket. Currently a triple-way tie with 2. Dustin, Johnny, what and welcome! It is a day of both jubilation and sadness, as this is our last day on Pacific Drive, but also we get to play more Pacific Drive, so... Whee! How you all doing, friends? Vanderbeast, did I say hi? I hope I said hi. Well, 2 hellos for you then, Vanderbeast. That's a house order special. J-Post, what and welcome. How are you all doing, friends? Tell me your tales! The Grand Prix-Naile. Press F1 to pay respects. Fuck yeah. And Dustin, thank you for that one. Although I did go with Naile as in N-A-I-L-E, because it just looks nicer to me. Dice Goddess, a good afternoon to you. And Vanderbeast, thank you for filling the pint glass. How are you all doing, friends? We have an adventure afoot! Dinobots on Quick Draw. I love that for us. Oh! And Lance, watcho and welcome. Currently nothing. Although I've started, air quotes, inking my next work. So I'm doing Full Armor Gundam at the moment. It took me ages to ink just one of these shields. There's 4. And I got halfway through and I was like, oh, why am I doing this? I should just clean the ink off and just not bother inking in the shields. And I was like, no! Nothing worth doing is ever easy. You don't get to be a Gundam pilot by faffing the fuck about. I was like, alright. Other me, I guess. And Angelos Watto, and welcome back! Aw, Dustin. That is a massive compliment. Although, I understand where I sit on the pecking order compared to the Merciverse. And Favor 6, yeah, we had some, we had a bad technical hiccup yesterday and it killed the credits.
Can't stay because I need to do some dinner prep. I need to go shopping, but I'm a bit lazy so dinner won't be rad. It will be radish.
Sorry, Ehrman, thank you kindly. What was up with that hiccup? That was not good. You know what? Just clear all those out. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Okay.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Yo, busy playing some RimWorld right now while I chillax this evening.
Lovely. Danny, that sounds like a lovely evening. Oh, it's okay, sorry. Herman, that's $10 in bits to keeping us alive. Fucking thank you. And Danny, that's 20 months. 20. 2-0. Thank you. Oh, as an FYI, for those of you that play Dwarf Fortress, Adventure Mode is currently up on the Steam version for a testy test. And yeah, Puns, the hiccup killed that joke. I don't know what's going on. Because I mean, in theory, there is nothing running behind the scenes that should have caused that. So I'll keep an eye on it. We'll have a little bit of a natter first before we get started, and then we'll go from there. And yes, Phyllis, you've been writing a fortress log, which would make for a lovely little, like, sketchbook-style notebook. Ever since the person who did the, not Stardew Valley, Starbound adventure log as like a little like frontier sketchbook. I've just been obsessed with the idea. But yeah, no, so Ehrman, I apologise for the joke death there. I had a little bit of panic. And yes, we did have a big old hiccup yesterday that killed the credits, and I am still sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. But, you know, Lizzie did take a full-on list of everybody that was going through. Elden Ring does not play nicely when being alt-tabbed, which has caused a lot of problems in the past. So I wasn't able to just do a manual read. But I hope those of you that did stick around for the credits got a proper thank you from me. I hope so. Anyway, Wolfgrad, Legend, Danny, Scrapberg, Phyllis, Punspector, Adaman, Watto, and welcome! This will be our grand finale of Pacific Drive today. You lot have been very patient with me binging that game, and I've had a fucking great time with it. Honestly, I'm probably going to continue doing like the last achievos and stuff in my own time.
I'm sad that Joke died so early in the day, but it's alright. We already know we're not morning people.
Bravo, puns, bravo. That was just pithy. I may need to beg your forgiveness, friends, as I might need to dust off the old soapbox 2 days in a row. But I'm definitely having a bout of thing I wish to rant about, which will make no difference and do no good. But is still driving me up the ruddy wall. C222, Watto, and welcome. Now, I know I'm in good company. I can definitely chat with you. We can definitely put the piss on boil. But it's the case of like, is this worth discussing in the greater sphere? And Gilmar Greyjoy, Watto, and welcome. Legend saying I thought it was going to be another Bacon Avenger joke. By the 9. Well.
Stop that incessant clicking.
I will not say thank you. I will not. I will not. You cannot make me. Villains! Criminals! Down on Dwarf. Watto, and welcome. I am gonna tippity-tappy up a little social media post in a second. Because if this is the last day, people might want to check this out. Though I will say...
You know what Death's favourite currency is? Crypto.
Bravo, bravo! Also, it happened so quickly with everything. Ehrman, you took the Yalden once more. What will you do with it? In the few moments it may have left. Personally, I'd say what is a necromancer's favourite currency? It's crypto. Okay, so MDH, thank you for tottering on over.
Stop that incessant clicking.
You wouldn't want to go on a road trip with me. Apparently I snore so loudly I scare the other people in the car I'm driving.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Errors the lobby up. But thank you. Alright. Sorry, I'm trying to break in my shoes. I decided to splash out and buy very cheap shoes for myself. I know. Okay. So, as the train careens around, Greyjoy, J-Post, Warcraft, thank you. All right. For all the chaos you'll unfurl. So great to be here. So let's do good games news before I pop the boiler on high. The Playdate, the tiny crank handle indie console that has been doing the rounds, announced today that so far they have paid out just over $500,000 to devs. For those who don't know, like the Playdate recently this year, put out their software open source, so anybody could sell their own games on the Playdate, and it's a cute little black and white handheld. The crank handle is one of the control methods, and some people have made some really cool games on there. It's a real like homebrew hotbed, and I love it. I really love it. And it's nice to hear that, I mean, not stupid money, but still, that's, you know, that's good cash. And I'm really happy for them. Really happy for them. And a weird one with Bohemia Interactive's weird little console-only game, Vigor, is finally coming to Steam. But no, Lance, I absolutely agree. Like, the Playdate has always felt like the absolute best thing for like a game jam or something. Oh, puns. Gotta be angry to use the Playdate, you know, cranky. I don't think Cranky Kong would appreciate you taking his name in vain. Just saying. And Squarepeg, that makes sense. Sorry, Squarepeg was saying that you can use GB Studio. GB Studio is like a visual scripting environment that lets you make Game Boy games. And so long as they actually fit the requirements, they will run on an OG Game Boy if you can flash the cartridge. It's real cool. And you can do some fucking cool stuff with it. I was chatting with one person ages back who made a really interesting horror game with it. It's fucking cool. We did a stream of making it ages back. I just giving the trainer a chance to trundle forward. Thank you, Aikoa. It says starter fluid for the morning impaired. Although I tend to use this one for tea more than anything else.
Who gifted a sub to Trainer C?
A criminal. A Shadow Realm deserving criminal. Thank you. Both the train and its Yalden will be very short-lived. But thank you all. Alright. Starting the day on a tiny train is really fucking lovely, and I really appreciate that. Like, thank you. And yes, Lance, this is kind of like this has been my emotional support playlist for a good while now, and it's a combination of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Ace Combat, Super Monkey Ball, Unreal Tournament, Roll Cage, and even a little bit of Klonoa in there as well for some spice.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Yo! Alright, whoever that spooky ghost was, thank you for gifting us up for Down Under the Wall. It is not PlayStation Jungle Mix 1. Oh, is it? 2000 Ambient Jungle in Gaming Mix 1. So possibly. MDH is up to see the Spy Family movie. Lovely. No, that sounds fucking cool. I am a little sad I missed the Macross Plus screening last year, but basically I'm betting everything on Chainsaw Man, which I think we've still got ages before that's coming out. The next part of Chainsaw Man will be dropping as a film, and I highly suspect that will be getting a cinematic release, at least in the US. So, okay. Bard gets interesting reactions at work. Listening to Shakespeare at work? Oh my god. What Shakespeare drum and bass remix. I am a pentameter does work like that. Ah, Lance, that sounds freaking lovely, y'all. And also, just before we get into like game news and stuff, I did want to say like another just big old round of thank yous. Loads of people checked in with me yesterday, and honestly, like doing.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Ikoa is your new y'all. Hoppacha. Again, whoever this spooky House Carl Hunter is, thank you. May you stay in the cover of your camouflage, but you're helping people not have to deal with adverts, which is really fucking cool. I don't know. Favour 6. I know what Bardcore is. It's just you referred to them as the Bard, which is the long-running nickname for one Willie Shakespeare. It cracks me up because from the LARP I used to do a million years ago, I still have Bardcore t-shirts from like the 2010s. Like I have Bardcore merch that predates YouTube.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Okay, House Carl's on a fucking spree today. Whoever that is, fucking thank you. Ikoa, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know how long the Yalden will be yours. Oh, and as an FYI, for those of you that are of the anime inclined, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's not easing up. Last season, great. This season, upsettingly good. I'm still trying to finish the last bits of, you know, what's been good. Anyway, I just wanted to say a big thank you for people checking in with me. I'm not going to say that I am doing great and wonderful and fine, but I'm hanging in here. I'm doing it, alright? And honestly, the things that are getting to me at the moment, it's just real life shit. I need more hours in a day, and I need some time off, and I have neither of those things. But I'm gonna go have a bevy with some friends tonight. I'm gonna go to a little board game thing, and I'm looking forward to it, you know? So. Yeah, so Lizzie, I mean, same with yesterday. I'm doing better. Tuesday was the bad day. Anyway, so friends, Longshipians, Vikings, and Miscreants, what? Oh, and welcome! Today we will be going through the last mission of Pacific Drive. I want to say again thank you for everybody who's been putting up with me just binging this. We've played nearly 50 hours of Pacific Drive and it has all been on stream. Honestly, if Pacific Drive chooses to do any DLC or anything expansion-wise, we'll jump on that one. And I hope at that point I'll have something. I'll either have like upgraded the rig or have access to some hardware to play it better. Because like, I don't know if you've seen Pacific Drive running on the PS5. It's gorgeous. My setup does not even do it an iota of justice. But gods, I love it. Okay, House Carl is on it. Fucking hell. Thank you. Okay, just very quickly, friends, before Ikoa's reign comes to an end as Jarl, they have demanded pet tax. So that means general chat, Discord, pet pictures. I don't make the rules. Jarl does. And yeah, whoever this, like, stealthy housecarl hunter is, fucking thank you. Kicking ass. But no, seriously, I've had the best time playing Pacific Drive, and honestly, if I definitely could have dragged it out for a few more weeks, you know what I mean? But you've all been very patient with me, and I appreciate it. You know, I'm acutely aware of when a game is brilliant, but isn't always the most fun to watch. And yeah. Angela's drag it. Hey, I'm gonna keep playing it. This game slaps across the board. Good, Lance. Your Jarl tax has been paid. We'll have to send in the Jarl forces. Oh, yay! Thank you for gifting us up to Angelos. That's really fucking cool of you. So yeah. If you haven't seen anything of Pacific Drive, it's entirely worth playing. Even if we go through the end of the story, it's not to sound like a fucking wanker. It's very much about the journey. And the thing that I'm still obsessed with is how both the gameplay and thematics all hit to the same beat, but you're supposed to become obsessed with this car. This car is an anomalous object, and it is supposed to have an effect on you. And honestly, through the mechanics and gameplay, I genuinely care about this car. You know, I forget who it was that pointed out that I was talking to it like Amos. And I was. Like, everything about this comes together so well to evoke this feeling of simultaneously of like ownership, but also of like empathy for a fucking beat up station wagon. And that's no mean feat. Like, how many times in a game have we been given like an NPC where we're supposed to desperately care about them, and we just can't. Dustin says, was the car ever properly named? I don't know. None of the names we gave it stuck. So, I'm so glad we've gotten to spend as much time with this game as we have. I'm glad that we didn't just, like, I know a few people kind of stumbled into finishing the story a little quickly, and what a fucking good game. And yeah, I'll give it a bump. I don't know if you saw previously, but we did get the rotating headlights, which should help. Dustin, a Mini Cooper would be very funny. An initial D car. Though, friends, from the quality and how that game is made, the car is probably one of the single most complex parts of that game. Like, I don't think we'll be seeing car mods anytime soon. But no, like, I try not to talk about Cyberpunk as much as I have been, but, like, Favor6 was saying, like, Jackie and Cyberpunk. Very true. Or, God, the Doctor in Blue Shift. All of your companions in Daikatana. Like, making people care about characters is no mean feat, alright? And achieving that with a fucking vehicle is second to none. Well, yeah, it's so fascinating because they tell you directly to you, you're going to become obsessed with this car. And then you do. And even if you personally didn't become car obsessed, mechanically your character spends all of their time and resources improving the car, making it better, right? Danny, we do have a VODs channel, and the Pacific Drive videos are all in one playlist. I think it's YouTube! I think it's YouTube. There we go. Oh, so yeah, there's loads of ways that you can come to care about characters in games, but especially in the AAA space, it always makes me laugh when we're supposed to give a fuck about, like, specific characters. And you just clearly... And Fable 6, there are loads of examples of caring, ways we've been made to care about characters. There's loads of ways to go about it. To a certain extent, there is an amount of, you know, personal taste, personal bias involved in that. You know, a lot of people didn't gel with Final Fantasy 15 because it was predominantly about caring about your friends, and some people found the boy band archetype to be off-putting, which is fine. I personally did gel with it, and holy shit, Prompto broke my little heart. But well, so Angelos, absolutely. Look, we've been talking about this a lot, but Angelos is spot on. There's a lot of games that give you a wife, daughter, father figure, and then do no groundwork and go, they're gonna care about it. The baby in Fallout 4 could not give a shit. I could not give a shit. You must go and find your son. I'm good. I'm just gonna keep listening to old-timey tunes and making my little, like, cul-de-sac of cool shit, making my power armor rad. These spurs, they jingle jangle. You know? And it's interesting because with Fallout, the previous title, New Vegas is a beautiful beast all its own. With Fallout 3, you spend your youth growing up with Liam fucking Neeson. He's a good dad. He's a good dad. And then suddenly, he's gone. Time to go find good dad. And when you do, fuck it, what a reveal. Won't spoil it, because I know there's a load of people that haven't played Fallout 3. But the time is taken to care. You know? There's a lot of characters in JRPGs who suffer some very, very noteworthy fates. Why do we care? Because we've spent loads of time working with them, leveling their stats, getting them the best kit, that focus. And with Pacific Drive, the fascinating thing is it's that two meld, right? We are told that the car is an anomalous object, but it's also the thing that we improve, we protect, that we repair. You know? We spend time and resources upgrading it, improving it, customizing it, making it look like how we wanna. Like, that relationship is grown not just through thematics but mechanics. You know? It's so good. Oh yeah, Dice Goddess, I entirely agree. Honestly, if Fallout London doesn't drop next week, one of the things I'm seriously considering is the increased random and horror mods for Fallout 4 that make nighttime like this fucking hellscape to travel across. But you know, yeah. I don't want to get too hard into Fallout talk just because I don't want to spoil a whole bunch of stuff, but I do think that Pacific Drive is a great example about how you can make people care about stuff, you know? And it is a blend of thematic and mechanic. The thing that always cracks me up is how in Destiny tried to put forward these characters we're supposed to care about. The only one I care about was Cade, because he's very funny. But in the Destiny universe, there is one thing that's consistently there with you, week in, week out. That is the one thing that you develop any attachment to, and that is your favorite exotic weapon. Like, I forget which fucking trailer it was talking about, like, oh my god, we must get to the Majamfa system so we can save Dingle Bungle Bingle Bangle. Like, I don't fucking care. But my pistol, I got the Sunburst revolver that causes people to explode when I kill them. I genuinely give a shit about that. Like, and why? Because it's always there. It is something that I've worked on and improved. I've made it mine. You know? Alana says the solution is talking guns. Then we get High on Life. Yeah. I appreciate what High on Life was trying to do, and it did manage to encapsulate the spirit of, like, improvised comedy in a game, which is fucking hard to do, but honestly, I just wanted them to stop. I wanted to drown my own guns. Yeah, well, and fearless, I do think that that opening where all your cool shit gets taken away, including your fancy guns, was a powerful opener. Like that, somebody didn't just hurt you, they hurt your guns. And Favor 6, we've already got the Metro series. Like, Fallout in Russia is just Metro Exodus. Anyway, I don't know. I'm still digesting a lot of Pacific Drive. The writing is stellar. Everything about it feeds toward this idea that, you know, your one friend, your one respite in this literal upside-down, topsy-turvy world is your car. But you have also been told that your obsession with your car will eventually destroy you. But the whole game is around focusing on making your car better and spending more time with it. What can I say, Fred? That's my American heritage right there. Anyway. You know what, friends? We don't need to boil piss today. Maybe we need some conversation while we're driving, but I don't know. I was very het up about shitty people in the games industry before I sat down. And now I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to give them any time. I don't want to talk to you lot and hang out. So you know what? Let's put that piss back in the fridge. Let's chill that wee. I don't think we need to give shitey people any time today. C222, not budget Guilty Spark? We have Guilty Spark at home. Actually, I do think that the manner in which your ghost in the Destiny series is like operated on and improved is trash. It's really trash. Mainly because when I compare what I think about my ghost in Destiny to what I felt for my mags in Phantasy Star, very, very different. And I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot recently because somebody mentioned Phantasy Star Online on one of the varying social media nonsense places, and I was like, oh, I actually used to get to play it split screen with friends. And it's had me brain thinking back, and it was like, we all spent so much time carefully feeding our mags. Like, we read guides, you know, on the evolution of them and how you grow them into certain things and which ones help you, but then which mags unlock which superpowers and shit like that. It's fucking great. You know, I ultimately wanted the gunner's equivalent of the dual wings, which is like, they kind of sat behind you like wings and then would spin around to be like laser cannons. It was fucking cool. Now, the way in which you grew those was you fed them healing items. And what items you fed them denoted how it grew on this little tree. They were like a non-stressy Tamagotchi. And it was fucking brilliant. It took ages, but it's an online game.
Reactor online.
Hey,
Sensors
Snug,
online.
hey!
Online.
How
All
you doing?
systems nominal.
Woo ya woohoo woo time.
Woohoo! I always love it when you come in and sub Snuggly, because it reminds me how long it was since we started playing Blackout Club. 56 months ago. How are you doing, friend? Watto and welcome. And so, Legend, this was Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online, also episodes 1 and 2. 3 doesn't count, because 3 was a trading card game, which was very odd. And I think it carried on to the other ones, because, like Angelos, I didn't play Blue Burst, which I think was on the PSP, if I remember rightly. And I had grand intentions of playing Phantasy Star Online 2 when it dropped, and then real life has definitely gotten in the way of me playing MMOs, which is probably healthy. Blue Burst was just 1 and 2 on PC. Okay, thank you. I guess by that point I had already binged it. I've still got my save cartridge and my copy in storage in the UK. God. I made a list of things that I will do if I ever have, you know, not even big money, just regular money, and one of them is get my stuff.
Stop that incessant
Hey! Okay, whoever is playing Kingmaker today, thank you kindly. It has meant that Fred is now the current Jarl, which worries me. Canadian Jarl, let's go! Ugh, hang on. I'm trying to break these boots in before I go out tonight, but... But I am a man of wobbly legs. Yeah, see, my worry, because Dice Goddess, same. My worry is that somebody's going to drop a similar online project, an MMO-sized project that's going to do something different, and it's going to kill me. Well, see, Angelos, that's what was so smart. Okay, if you never played Phantasy Star Online, it was one great big hub world where everyone would meet and hang out on a giant spaceship, and then you'd team up with 3 other people and then go down to the planet. But that was all instanced, right? So it wasn't an open world. You'd explore the map room by room, fight bad guys, and some of them would drop loot. As you make your way towards the boss would be a redonkulous encounter. And then once you beat the boss, you go back up to the spaceship. And that was the general loop of it. And yes, no, Angelos, the bosses were incredible. Like, peak Dreamcast tier spectacle. But yeah, that was what was so smart about Phantasy Star Online, is that it was predominantly using the strengths of new internet stuff, but offsetting it with its limitations in a way that made a whole bunch of sense, right? Also, congrats on everybody that has been doing pet tax. Gonna point out the fact that Angelos did decide to put a Furby in pet tax. If our previous Jarl was still ruling, I'd have you reported, but Jarl Fred's currently got the seat. It counts! MDHS Balatro MMO. Yo. There was a project for a while to try and make the criminally under-discussed Card Fighters Clash from the Neo Geo Color Pocket into an MMO-sized project. Because, well, what people wanted to do was make the Pokemon card game from the Game Boy Color into an MMO, but they feared the wrath of Nintendo. As you should! All these fan projects that are like, We got sued by Nintendo. Surprised Pika face. Children, did we not learn anything? Back in my day, fan projects and emulation was an underground thing that you didn't tell people about. Anyway, sorry. I'm glad that the Card Fighters Clash MMO never came to fruition, because it would have fucking killed me. Yeah, Snuggly, I saw Warren Spector was talking a big game about the multiplayer Thief. It's called, like, Den of Thieves or Thick as Thieves, that's it. But when I saw, like, the PvP elements in it, I was like, So, Warren Spector's got a bunch of, like, OG Looking Glass peeps together, and they're gonna do some fun shit with it, and that's fine. I'm sure it'll be awesome. There we go. However, personally, I think that adding PvP changes and recontextualizes games that you can't really call them immersive sim types when you're playing PvP, because you're not looking at the simulation anymore, you're looking at the systems you have to murder others, and will use them heavily in disambiguation to, air quotes, win. You know? But it is a reminder that even though somebody has been, you know, one of the progenitors of a project, that doesn't mean they're necessarily the best person to carry that legacy forward. You know what I mean? I've been thinking of the what's his mate face? The Aliens franchise problem, that from what we have seen from people who are absolutely not one of the original creators of Alien, they have been able to create some incredible stuff with that franchise. However, Alien Covenant is one of the fucking worst movies I've seen in years. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to rant. I said I wasn't going to boil any piss, and by Jove, I'm not going to start. So Moose, you're right. PvP doesn't mean it necessarily has to be a combative game. You know, two teams competing in a heist could be very funny. It could be very fun as well. I'm just... being the first person to create something doesn't necessarily mean that person is the best to evolve it. You know, both Molyneux and Richard Garriott are people that have entrenched entire genres, and both fell victim to the nuftiness. Like, I do not think that... I think that the way in which games evolve and change and build upon happens very, very quickly, and I think the kinds of people that get articles written about them are not the ones spending the most amount of time in that genre. And Snuggly, Hood was fine, but what was interesting about it is it wanted to be a multiplayer heist game, but because of the manner in which the systems were put together, like, stealth in the heist was the least optimal maneuver, right? Once you add PvP to elements, users will, more so than any other space, will optimize, because they have to. Oh, and so MDH, I got some interesting information on Slay the Spire 2 that one of the big reasons behind it is that they did not want to continue working on and supporting Unity in case of Stabby Dave. So Slay the Spire 2 exists not to be the new paradigm, but because Unity is a piece of shit. Like, they made a post saying they were going to move away from Unity, and they've done that by creating a defined break. There is no way Unity can claim that Slay the Spire 2 has anything to do with the previous. Titans, what are you bringing me? But I'm not inherently against the idea of multiplayer immersive sim style stuff. Hell, if we look at the competitive assassinations from Hitman, those were good.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Oh, Scotty, fucking thank you. Okay. Let's get into game. Let's get into game. Shall update to some Pacific Drive. Get the car ready. As this is possibly our last big run, we'll be able to jam-pack that hood full of whatever we need to repair everything. It's gonna be good. Sorry, I figure whilst we're having a natter, I might as well feckin' get the car, make sure it's all repaired and ready to roll. You know, Moose, I keep thinking a lot about the Assassin's Creed multiplayer and how Ubisoft just couldn't make that stick. Because it was genuinely innovative, it was a lot of fun. It was fucking good. Like, historically, there was a period where everybody was trying to add multiplayer to their titles because they thought it was going to be they thought it was a must-have, right? Multiplayer was a way to extend the life of your game and make sure people were buying copies new. And there was some shitey multiplayer, I won't lie. Every game having some kind of, like, you know, PvP and capture the flag was met. But there was a few standout gems. And those being things like the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which was a game of assassin. You have a target, one other has a target. And, like, MDH, shenanigans. Fucking terrors. Sorry, apparently pictures of me count as pet tax because I count as a Tamagotchi. So this is what happens, you let one Furby in and everything gets thrown out of whack. But yeah, so Titans, that was how the Assassin's Creed multiplayer worked. You all played assassins. You had a target and someone else was targeting you. The person who you're targeting doesn't know you're going after them. Only the hunter knows who they're after. But the entire crowd is filled up with identical variants of these NPCs. You're assigned your character randomly. So your goal is to behave like an NPC. And it was fucking brilliant. Like, it was genuinely interesting, genuinely inspired. and it eventually got dropped. Now I can understand why. Like, that's really complex. If it's not making extra cash, you can see why they might. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that alongside that, you know, alongside that, we also had the Mass Effect multiplayer, which was not a PvP style. Oh, hey, car. Which was not a PvP styled flavor of nonsense, but was in fact a co-op shooter, which was a lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna have to rebuild a lot of stuff here. Okay. Yeah, no, and the Mass Effect multiplayer was a lot of fun. You know, a lot of those were also part of Project $10, which is a whole kettle of monkeys. Alright, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing. Alright, mini turbine, good. Lightning rod, not good. Oh, did we clear out the back of the car? Yeah, we did. Got my cool mobile workbench and all my goodies. Oh, I got a few insulated panels I'm going to need swapping out. Doors and the bumpers are good though. How the tyres doing. And the lip shield's still good. Cool. Well, so Moose, one of the things that I noted was, like, with the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, stealth kills were the best way to score, right? However, as the game progressed, it became as points became harder to come by, the chaos increases throughout the match. So at the beginning, everybody's like sneaking around and stabbing each other, and by the end of it, it moves into this high-speed parkour pursuit, which is very much in keeping with the game. And I fucking loved that. Okay, so I'm going to need a lightning rod, a mini turbine, and was it just one panel? Yeah, I think it's just one panel. Yeah, we're good. Okay. And I very much enjoyed that, because people who ran around early on in the Mass Effect multiplayer just got shanked by somebody sitting on a bench. This did make me laugh a lot. Sorry, the reason I keep kicking stuff is because of the old swapping between like 7 different control schemes. Anyway, I believe it was Warcrad was saying earlier, but yeah, there was also a time when a game not having multiplayer was seen as a huge markdown in review scores and things like that. It very much became expected, which is wild, but you know, our industry has grown so much. I can't really hate on it. Alright. Mini turbine. Lightning rod. I mean, oh, I needed more chips to make the mini turbine, sorry. Like, Moose, in that regard, I can only go by as much of it as I played, and I didn't see that, because at least in the matches that I played, it just led to a bunch of It led to a bunch of people running around and getting killed a lot, and it was very funny. A lot of people likened it to when the Splinter Cell demo went live, and the amount of people that would run around playing it like Gears of War and just get fucking destroyed. That always made me laugh. Good times, good times. I'm definitely enjoying our whole like faux Ghostbusters vibe. Alrighty. Might as well just use up what we've got. I'm just, honestly friends, I'm just going to use the roof to just stash everything. Like, we're going out with 100%... But one thing that is interesting is that while we didn't see a continuation of that, we did see the rise of the prop hunt, which a few people have given an honest go in creating like a proper standalone variant. I don't know if any of them have succeeded, because quite a few of them don't need... Quite a few of them are in a place where they don't need to tell everybody if they're succeeding, you know what I mean? Like, Gary's Mod doesn't have to advertise. Angelos, you know what? I have heard very similar things. Sorry, Angelos was saying that Midnight Prop Hunt is very good. The fact that that one has the reversey Percy, that once you get to a certain point, the ghosts no longer need to hide, and they become the hunters. I thought that was a wonderful little little twist. And as I'm sure you've all seen, like, I've been really enjoying the Ghostbusters game. Ben got us to play it, and they were right. It's good. I don't want to use the marsh eggs, because if I do continue playing this in my downtime, I'm going to be working towards getting all the goodies, you know what I mean? Alright, stash these up here. Okay, so we need sealing kits and mechanic kits. Cool. Front right wheel. Oh, it needs a little... You're right, it does need a little splash of the good stuff there, Scotty. Glad one of us is paying attention. Ah, fuck it, why not? Get decadent with it. Look. Okay. Sealant kits, mechanic kits. Yeah, no, Scotty, you're absolutely right. If I hadn't done that, that absolutely would have been the one that would have been fucking wrecked. Also, I guess due to the complexity of assets and what's going on, like... Sorry. Games have become more complex. They have become more awesome. But also in the same breath, we've reached a point where it's not as simple to... It's not as simple to just add multiplayer as it might have been. User expectation is now ridiculously high in the AAA space, and with the quality of assets and the complexity of the titles that we have, it's difficult. You know, if we think of the games that have very, very successful multiplayer, they're actually quite simplistic, like in their delivery. Fred says, that's why we need to go to the quadruple A space. That doesn't stop being funny. Eves Gilmo. We will create a quadruple A video game. Their supposed quadruple A video game is one of the blandest things I have seen. Something based on one of their existing titles that's even more bland. Apparently what we can do is make some better headlights. Trash those. Angelos. Yeah, we can only really feel emotion from characters. We can see their pores and sweat. Yeah, It often amazes me the lengths of overspending that some projects go to. I'll get the insulated headlights. Sorry, that there is so much overspending that happens when dealing with characterization in the AAA space. I'm hearing some good things about Hellblade's sequel, Senua's Day Off, or whatever it's being called. So I'm becoming more optimistic about that title than I was previously, but one of the things that I find so bizarre is the amount spent in some games towards like facial and motion capture in titles that absolutely don't need it because of a level of expectation. And I've come to realize it's that we spent it so we need to use it, right? Because if a team gets a motion capture space, they got to make it work. They've essentially made like a fiscal rod for their own back. Whereas there are other ways that are much more affordable. That could be used for telling the same story in a very, very similar way. But when you reach a certain point in AAA, and those of you that have worked in a corporate environment will understand this one, but there's this philosophy that if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And this is basically comes down to budgets. This idea that if you have a marketing budget, if you have yourself a fucking, I don't know, VO budget, what have you, this idea that if you don't spend all of it, that next year management will be like, oh, well, you asked for this, but you actually didn't fucking need it, so it's gone. Thank you, money judgy popo. Yeah, and as Scotty says, that's why everybody gets real spendy in April. And yeah, it's funny when you're on the good end of it. You're like, oh shit, we haven't spent our community marketing budget. Oh crap, what are we gonna get? It's just one of those other like weird locked in features, right? This idea that it's gotta be used rather than, you know, saved for a future project, which would be very smart. Sorry, I just want to see if the putting it on the chassis did anything. Oh, I put it on the top there. It's pretty cool. Let's have a team building exercise in the Maldives. Team building budget was Sega, but that's another story. One of the other things that I despise so much about this AAA environment is that you reach a point where you can't suggest playing smarter. Like, you can't rearrange the way in which people work. And drives me up the ruddy wall. Angelo's only did one team building thing at Sega. I was to meet Daddy Sonic in an office block in Croydon. We went to an obstacle course in the middle of a field with no shade. Got sunburnt to shit, but also frozen because it was like a bubble assault course. Winds whipping across this open field. It was hosted by Cheggers. Now I understand, again, that will only make sense to 3 people here, but just the fucking weirdness. There's an incredible photo of me and Craig, both sunburnt and freezing, while Cheggers is doing his ha-hey, ha-hey! I just wanted to fucking kill a man that day. It was not good. It was not good. Sorry, Angelos was saying that. Activate a mental image. I won't say who, but I definitely saw somebody's twigging berries during that particular event who seriously underestimated what their shorts were showing. Alice, the Cheggers, the Chuckle Brothers unavailable. The Chuckles were higher up. I will say, friends, if you haven't seen the Chuckle Brothers Assassin's... not Assassin's Creed, lol. The Chuckle Brothers Hitman video, look it up because it is one of the best assets that anyone has put out. Now, unfortunately, because I have had 2 pints of coffee, I need to nip to the loo before we hit the road. So, grab your road snacks. Go have a wee, because we won't be stopping once we get going. Actually, we'll, as Scotty was saying, we'll do a last sweep to see if there's any like items or resources we can get before we hit the road. But yeah, this is gonna be an adventure. This will probably be one of the longest runs we do, and I'll still be hoarding items. Like, I might get another magical hammer for unobtainium and stuff like that, because, I mean, shit, there might be a surprise second to last mission, or other things from here. But either way, there is a distinct possibility that I personally am going to do a full Chivos run on this one, so, yeah. But friends, go get your snacks, bathroom break, and then we hit the road. Alright? Alright. Sorry, friends. Last night, River desperately needs to go out in the wee hours, which is fine. However, as I was getting the elevator back up, I started hearing some like weird, like dude pop emanating from somewhere around the apartment complex. Turns out there's a speaker, and it for some reason was playing stuff in the wee hours. That's fine, happens. But I didn't know this. I thought someone was having a breakdown and like listening to sad boy pop on their phone. And when I couldn't find anybody, I was like, is this ghosts? Am I dealing with ghosts? Oh, actually, we can make a couple of all-terrain tires just in case, or at least one. Get a spare, you know. Oh, maybe not. Okay, but we'll get some off-road tires. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're fine. Rearrange a bit of stuff. It's fine, don't worry about it. Everything is fine, do not worry about it. Oh, and that needs filling anyway. But yeah, no, I was losing my fucking marbles last night. Turns out it was fine. Though I'm probably not the most... let's say, probably not the most mentally healthy person at the moment. I started finally watching Chernobyl, and unfortunately... Okay, look. Quick show of hands here. How many of you have watched the TV show Vikings? Like, just give me just a quick, rough head count. Like, how many of you have seen Vikings? What else can we make to make our life easier for this run? Oh yeah, we can stash another Magna Hammer. Just in case. The rest we can build as a just in case. Honestly, we'll just build a new vac and a new drill. Okay, so during the first, I'm going to call it the first 2 episodes as one, you have this one scene that always makes me just weep laughing. Because it's all the Vikings. They've finally managed to get a group together, and they're going to sail across the seas. They're going to raid England, right? And it's these Vikings in a boat. Like, one of them's being sick. They're covered in seawater. One guy's killed for freaking out, and they're just like, "Oh my god!" Like, they're covered in blood and gore with murder in their eyes. And then splash cut to this British monastery. It was like, "Hello, Brother Titus. Oh, how is your day? Is it lovely? Is it a lovely day? Oh, I sure do love being a peaceful monk with no means of protecting myself." Splash cut to the Vikings and, like, the vomit and seawater seeping across their face. The dead-eyed glare into the camera. Splash cut back to the monastery like, Oh, Brother Nathaniel, how's the goat? Oh, you do love that goat. Oh, I've heard it's the least protected goat in all of England. Oh, sorry, I would stop and chat with you and your lovely goat, but I have to get all this unprotected gold over here. And it cuts back and forth, and it just cracks me the fuck up. Like, it might as well have some, like, comedy soundtrack. It's damn near, like, peak Python humor. Now, the Chernobyl disaster was... Oh, was an awful part of human history. Fucking, I can't say it without laughing. However, the first episode is cut exactly the same way. There's a very, very moody, shadowy opening intro, which is kind of setting the tone at the end of the story. And then the whole time is cutting back between the... with people being like, oh my god, the core's exploded. The core's exploded? That's impossible. Splash cut to the locals being like, yay, let's go outside and play! Kids damn near doing fucking snow angels in the nuclear ash. There's one bit where someone's like, let's take the baby to watch the fire. I'm like, oh my god. And it has the same patter. It is comedic timing in a serious situation, and I can't handle it. I can't handle it. So I'm sorry. It is excellent. It is absolutely worth watching. So many people giving incredible stellar performance. It's heavy going, and it's not light and funny, which is why the fact that I laughed so much the first episode made me feel really fucking bad. See, that was the weirdness of my night. Surprised I'm allowed out anymore, you know? Okay, and for tools we want a crowbar, hand vac, and just a rare... Fuck it, let's spoil ourselves. Let's get a plasma scrapper. We got the goodies. We got the time. We got the know-how. And like Vanderbeest, I'm not making light of what happened. It was just the way in which it's structured was the same pacing as that episode of Vikings. And as soon as my brain put the two together, I couldn't help it. I will say, partially one of the reasons why I'm watching it is like a... one of the reasons why I decided to watch this last night is, I don't know, I went through True Detectives while like cleaning and getting everything in order, and it really helped. So I think maybe like more of the good TV shows while I'm getting stuff done. But also from playing this and talking about it, like I finally started. I found a really good audiobook version of Roadside Picnic. Thank you, Fearless, for pointing me on the direction of that one. So I've been listening to that, and Roadside Picnic is a novel that spawned so much of that, like, you know, post-apocalyptic media. I mean, Vanderbeest, technically I had Frozen, mentally. In my mind. Roadside Picnic is very, very clever. And it uses the, you know, the Chernobyl disaster as the inspiration for some science fiction that would end up shaping so much of our popular media. So, like, between playing this and watching Fallout and stuff like that, like, it's been interesting to go back to the source and how feckin' good it is. Because, like, without Roadside Picnic, we wouldn't have things, at least in my humble opinion, we wouldn't have the same look as things like Fallout. How it was different from, you know, Wastelands and other type stuff. Wait, Roadside Picnic predates the Chernobyl disaster? Seriously? I need to check my fucking timelines. Fuck. I had no idea. Thank you for telling me. Huh. Dear Dumpster, this feels spiteful. Signed, your buddy Will. Make me wait for the fucking bubbles to come down. So, Kimball, I've only just started it. So... it's been really, really good to go back to where it was all inspired from, you know? I don't know. It's weird when we think about how ubiquitous the concept of the post-apocalyptic scenario is and how much... there isn't actually that much media about it all. One of the ones I love talking about is basically my Viggo Mortensen's toe is that Prix-Naile from Fallout 3, an iconic character, is actually based on a mostly shite post-apocalyptic horror movie, which I always forget the name because it's super generic, but it's about a scavenger who makes good money scavenging the wasteland and brings back a piece of lost tech for his girlfriend, who is a sculptor who makes these art installation things based out of things that he finds but can't sell. And one of them is this skull, this mechanical skull, that ends up being like a nano machine super. Is it just called hardware, Dave? I always struggle to find the name of it because it's so generic. But anyway, this skull ends up using the sculpture pieces to reanimate and stalks her. Yes, it is based on 2000 AD strip, but to my knowledge it isn't considered canon, even though the skull is very reminiscent of the ABC Warriors. Mainly because What's-His-Face is allowed to just go out into the desert and come back. Oh, interesting. But yeah, so Hardware has an opening and closing stinger of this incredible, like, DJ of the Wastelands, who is Three Dog in all but name. Welcome to the Wastelands! I hope you're all surviving out here. Love it. Love it. That's my weird little, like, you know, Viggo Mortensen's toe. You know, I do remember a time when, like, post-apocalyptic media was really hard to come by. You know, things like Fallout were actually quite rare. Hardware's 34 years old now. Bloody hell. Another one of my personal favourites is definitely the Six-String Samurai. Not great, but really interesting. The Six-String Samurai is basically a game that fucking Platinum should make. Wait, Iggy Pop and Lemmy were in Hardware? Fucking where? There was like 3 characters in that movie. But, alright. But... oh, and Navalis. Nice. I do recommend the Six-String Samurai. I think it's just available in on the YouTubes. The ending's kind of meh, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's this totally not Buddy Holly walking the wastelands doing battle with katana, ultimately being stalked by this demonic figure who looks identical to Slash from Guns N' Roses. And it's an allegory about like old and new music and how one's forgotten. The premise is the king is dead. The king of Vegas has died, leaving an empty throne, Elvis. And these are the people coming for his kingdom. And it's a little absurdist, it's a little bizarre, but really interesting. And another one that's definitely had an influence further than it gets discussed. Hi, I'm the keeper of the weird shit that nobody else decided to watch. Sadly, the Bruce Campbell post-apocalyptic movie sucks. I'm sorry, does. And I always forget, because again, the thing is, once you start getting into this, like especially during like the late 70s, early 80s, there was a bunch of post-apocalyptic media that was fucking garbage. But some of it touches on some interesting ideas. One of them was the concept that after the bombs drop, that we would basically revert back to a medieval style caste system, you know, with, you know, knights and lords and what have you. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, I forget the name of that movie, but it was very much something that inspired the concept of Brotherhood of Steel's, like, knights, squires, etc. Alright, Dave. Hey, I'm glad I unlocked that one, because I usually feel like I'm the only lunatic talking about this stuff. Yeah, oh no, and Scotty, Hardware was terrifying because it was like a proto Tetsuo. You know, the idea that this thing would just rebuild its body out of whatever it could find, and it got nasty. Again, it's not a great movie, but it's very, I don't know, inspiring. Oh shit, Moose, I had forgotten about that. Sorry, Moose was saying that in Shadowrun lore, there's a magical cult of Elvis impersonators that have their own mentor spirit. Yup. I don't know. Some days, friends, I just don't have the brain power to tackle, you know, good modern cinema. I've been trying to watch Poor Thing, or Poor Things, I forget how it's described. I've been trying to watch it for a couple weeks now, and I get like 5 or 10 minutes in, and I'm like, nah, this is more than I can handle. But old, mostly shite movies, I can watch those all day, and frequently do. I don't know who it was that sold them all to streaming services, but feckin' yo. Scotty says IMDb gives Hardware 5.9. I think that's fair. It is. The thing is, we don't have a way to denote things that are not good pieces of media, but are inspirational pieces of media. You know what I mean? Oh shit, was my car doing the thing where the door opens again? Can't remember. Okay. I guess, Angelos, I haven't gotten out of the paddling pool bit of that movie yet, and so there's a lot of it that's uncomfortable, but it's supposed to be uncomfortable, right? Hi, my name's Will. I made 4 off-road tires when I had 3 off-road tires, just chilling. How's your day? Start having a look at our route. Jesus fucking Christ. Scotty, I think it does still pop the hood when I reverse. Maybe we should look into fixing that. Do you see how bad this is? We have literally one path, and it takes us through multiple storms. Fucking hell. Yeah. Well, so Angelos, one thing I saw that was fascinating is how much visual inspiration Poor Things takes from the original Metropolis. You know, the iconic sci-fi movie about literally building a robo-lass. Fearless says, go somewhere else then. I mean, I guess we've got time to do one run before the big one, but... and... Well, so Kimball, Doomsday is very, very good. It's, okay, Doomsday is over the top and I love it, but yeah, the idea that Scotland is like the feral wild lands. But no, I'm talking like an OG 80s post-apocalyptica. So, hood is opened. Oh, sorry. So it's car moves backwards. Hood opens. Scotty's already in the right place to counter the Triffid invasion, which is the Isle of Wight. Yeah, I have been considering doing a rewatch of the varying Day of the Triffid stuff. Mainly because we had the eclipse recently, and I'm still paranoid about that kind of shit. I saw Day of the Triffids way too young. Oh, actually, so Yeti, good shout. Yeah, if we go E3 to C4, C4 to A2, A2 to A1, and cut through, we should be able to get through there. Here's the thing. This run could take well over an hour. And I need to be bringing our adventures to close round about, like, post 6-ish. Because I am determined to go into the outside world. I am determined to be a person who lives his life! As I've been going fucking insane. Sorry. Alright, let's see what we've got to work with. So, alright. E6, fine. C4. Battery and fuel generating, I hate that for us. Unknown. Unknown and explosive. Peaceful. I know what you're about. Scotty, absolutely the fuck not. I've given you too much power already. Oh. You know what it is? I assume it was Mad Max 2. But I'm guessing there was a post-apocalyptic either novel or movie that made mad bank during the late 70s, early 80s, and everyone kind of made a little gold rush for the hills. And there's loads of things in that space. Some of them are fucking terrible. Some of them are alright. But a lot of them are high concept, low delivery, right? By which I mean, they would need a lot of cash to deliver to the quality of the concept they were putting forward. To do them now, they'd need some hella big CGI budgets, and I respect that. But when we take these ideas... was it Planet of the Apes? Oh, yeah, because Planet of the Apes made mad money, didn't it? Yeah, thank you. But when we take these concepts and we apply them to video games, we have game mechanics. We have different ways of telling these same stories. And I think that's why I'm so obsessed with these ideas. It's like, they swung for the fences, and it didn't work. But it could have worked better. So Angelos, I do think the general Cold War paranoia played into it, and like, you know, post-Cuban Missile Crisis and shit like that. You know, the doomsday clock countdown to midnight and all that bollocks. But usually when it comes to movies in Hollywood, it's about what makes bank. There's a lot of weird movies out there that are the only one of its kind, because it came out, it made no money, and it was never heard of again. Usually, if you can track the money, you can track how people went through it. I might re-roll this one. Magnified explosions. Exhausting explosions. Can actually kind of survive that one. Meteorite medley. We're just going to fucking zone through there. Yeah, this is the only one I want to re-roll, because like heavy fog, no stress, no worry. but puncture probable. That just increases the amount of spikes on the road. I should be able to make that. Okay. I think also Romero's work probably had an influence. You know, Dawn of the Dead was one of those movies that made stupid money on a on a tiny budget. Same with Night of the Living Dead, so it could have played an effect. But yeah, there's so many of these concepts that the movies didn't really work, right? Sometimes they just wrong actors, wrong place. A lot of these like post-apocalyptic, weird sci-fi kind of movies, they could only really afford an good person, and if that person was phoning it in, then what are you gonna fucking do? You know, if you've watched any of Mystery Science Theater or Riff Tracks or what have you, you've probably gone through a bunch of these like great concept, terrible movie. And I find a lot of these very, very inspirational because, again, we can revisit them in this space. And we can do more with it. Like, there's a lot we can do. There. No, I'm going to leave puncture probability and just drive careful. Alright, so we've got food, we've got flares, plenty of stuff. It's 4 PM. Do you know where your kids are? How is the... Okay, we'll pop the brightness up a bit more. See if that helps as we're going through. That was one thing that was requested. Huh. A Kaimball, that sounds fascinating. Kaimball saying there's an interesting 50s sci-fi flick called 4D Man. Alright, have I got anything weird on me? Nah. Got a bit of everything we need. Got a drill. Got a couple of magic hammers if we encounter unobtainium. Loads of stuff for repairs, 2 gas cans, and an extra hoover. We can do this. Tank is full. Yep, and I fixed the quirk. Alright friends, we've got a long journey ahead. And the fucking battery just started leaking. Are you kidding me? I'll fix that now. I guess, Scotty, like, the pre-post Star Wars must have already played a setup. Anyway. When I get the chance, probably after this run, I'll go through some of my, my to-watch lists. Especially, weirdly, on Amazon. There's a lot of things I've earmarked on there that are bad movies, but really inspirational. Please don't be super broken. It's just swollen. There's nothing I can do. Thanks, I hate it. This journey's gonna be a challenge. Alright, so we'll just take the long road, grab a couple of anchors. This area is not too stressful. Okay, Scotty, we could, you're right, we could go back. But for that, we're going to need... for that, we're going to need goodies. So, we'll just hit all the places along the way. Honestly, having the materials to be able to repair shit if shit goes wrong, that feels like a smart play anyway. Get some scrap, get some food.
Or we could wreck the car in the woods. Decisions.
That would be my fucking luck. I spend all day bigging up how this is our like big finale and our final run. The car eats shit and we lose it all before we even get there. I just can't believe it popped as soon as we set, like, we got going. Turn you off. Oh look, the locals are here. Off-road tires. Fucking love them. Oh, I know how that summer dance ends. Ends me having to fix my fucking car. And I will say, shout out to the auto park for making my life a little bit easier.
Reminder, no driving into zombies in Project Zomboid. It will ruin the car.
I think it's very optimistic that you think that we're going to get to cars on Saturday. I think that is a very optimistic assertion. Okay, so even though this is the final run, the reason why I'm hoarding up resources is because I was a bit ninja, and I didn't consider that we'd want just raw materials for repairs. Why are you exploding? Fucking tourists. Ooh, this is nice. Berkira0, thank you for the 500, friend. It's $5 to keeping this whole ruddy thing going. Yeah, honestly, considering how long we're going to be on this run, win, lose, or draw, some extra goodies aren't a terrible idea. Hang on, bear with me just a second. I was trying to think, is there anything that you lot would consider in your, like, it's not a good movie, but it's very inspirational? Because I kind of been talking at you all a lot. And I know I'm, as a person who streams for a living, I am known to do that quite a bit. What did you lot do? Alright, one, I'm going to go check over there because those crystals are nice. Two, we might as well grab fuel where we can. I know we don't need a lot of it right now. But part of me is like, can't ruddy hurt, yeah? Earthman Dave said probably has said hardware now that I've been reminded it for some reason. And that's a good one. It's alright. I mean, friends, we got a long car journey, and... Ooh, burn my scrap. Love it. Leave the rest of these cheeky buggers to their decisions. Raid this place. Ooh, refrigerator. Angela's really liked The Beach. Not a good movie. I've seen it disavowed. Now, are we talking about The Beach with old Leonardo dates babies? Because I agree with you. I think that's a really interesting one. And also, kind of feels like a precursor to Far Cry 3. You know? The idea of somebody who... sorry, friends. I can't think of a better term, and I do apologize. Someone who goes native, if you will. I'm so sorry. I couldn't think of a better terminology for it. It's definitely a vibe, and it shows how, you know, people's perceptions of themselves can often push them into very strange places. Oh, bunnies! Now listen, you. Huh. Junker steering wheel. That's kind of cool. Bunny's just coming to say a last run. Like, in my humble opinion, I would put The Beach with Leonardo and Far Cry in that Far Cry 3 in that same vein, because it's about, you know, this fish out of water person becomes very unhinged. Thank you, car. Actually need to turn right the way around. Just trying to avoid the radiation if we can. Like, I'm gonna grab the anchors, not because we need them for the resources, but just if we do have to bail, we'll want them, right? The book is better. Oh yes. Dear random, thank you for the free charge. Whee! We are insulated and rated. Let's go. Nope. Bunnies! No! I can't alone! It is I, Bunny Killer. And the Bunny Killer 9000. Okay. Actually, let's... Alright, good. Is that a charging station or a repair station? It's a repair station? Alright, I'll take it. I'll say fairer than that. I guess sometimes the zone just wants us to do well. Party's here. I guess I didn't scan this. Okay. But no, Scotty, you know it's one of my favourite topics to talk about, like the reflection of game mechanics when put under a people scope. And I still think Far Cry 3 is one of the best. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know it by now, but I'm just gonna say it, I guess for my own entertainment, really. Don't do it, bunny. Right, you're doing this on purpose now. Come here. Come here. No! No! Let's never speak of that. Let's never speak of that. If you never played it and you haven't heard of it, like, it's entirely fine. So Far Cry 3, you know, another, in essence, a pretty generic shooty gun bang game, right? You and your friends are all trust fund babies, and you decide to go to, like, I don't know, a big old island hopping adventure. And then one night in a club, you hear about this, like, secluded island that you all decide you're going to fucking parachute onto for some reason, because you're, you know, rich dickheads and you think you're young, white, and invincible. Okay. From there... Oh, actually, I'm going to shred that while we have the chance. Okay. Oh, actually... Hopefully we can fall too far back. Oh, we fall bloody far back. Alright, never mind. Okay. I just want the spare steel for repairs and shit like that. Anyway. You parachute onto this island, and surprise, the island is bad. It's full of pirates. Including the enigmatically terrifying class. One of the best villains we've had in a Far Cry game today. Anyway. Your friends will get captured by these pirates, you escape, and become a Jason Bourne tier, you know, super assassin with a machete killing people to save your friends. This is great and pretty par for the course in a AAA shooty gun bang game, alright? Except when you finally do start finding your friends, when you finally do start encountering them, your friends are like, holy shit, you just fucking killed these people. Like, you are an actual honest-to-goodness murderer. That's bad. You know? The things that you have done as you would... Oh, time to go. The things you would normally do in an FPS AAA video game, when filtered through the lens of regular people, is like, you killed a man with a machete in the most brutal way imaginable. That's not cool. One of the characters is genuinely terrified by you, even though you have fought through this camp of pirates to save them. And not like Yara pirates, but like modern pirates. And it's so fascinating. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Ooh. No, we're good. We're good. Do we have time? No, we don't have time. Risking it for a biscuit there is how I end up getting this kill. Anyway. Is it like £4 on Steam? Alright. I mean, Far Cry 3 is still incredibly fun to play. And it... I hate this. And it says really fascinating things. You know, it doesn't say you are bad for enjoying this game. It says, like, hey, if you did these things in the real, people wouldn't congratulate you, they'd be fucking scared of you. You killed 20 guys with a machete. What the fuck? You have a higher body count than Jason fucking Voorhees at this point. Anyway. I found that was a very, very, like, interesting concept. I'm gonna keep an eye out for some unstable anchors here. Anyway, what I'm saying is that taking that vibe and that flavor of the beach and passing it through game mechanics is... I don't have a way to prove this, alright? But shamanistically, it feels like that was one of the intentions they had with that project, you know? Ultimately, like, as you play through that game, Vas appears as kind of like a mystical figure. Like, he haunts you. Get my fucking shit punctured. And I think it works very well because Vas ends up being a reflection not of what you think you are, but what you have become. Right? It's killing me not getting these resources. I saw that thermo crystal. Any other time? But I can see him! I'm doing this on purpose. Any other time? Man, talking and driving is hard. But yeah. Oh, don't judge me. Alright? And I do need the anchor as well, so that's my justification here. But it's easier in some regards to show character progression through mechanics than it is through, like, observed narrative. You know? Honestly, one of the few times I think someone's scratched the same concept and done it well was... has anyone else seen Guns Akimbo with Daniel Radcliffe? Now, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't. It's a fun romp. It goes some silly places, and that's cool. And that is... Let's have a look at it. However, the reason why I bring it up is it too takes a cartoonish level of violence, and then at more than one point throughout it goes, alright, but what would people think of you if you actually were this? And that's super fucking powerful. You know? One of the things that's fascinating is that we have so many stories about how, you know, how violence and conflict change you. In video games, however, we tend to expect that we will get better at the thing. We will get better at violence and conflict, right? You know, that's just the nature of the kind of characters we play. Alright, I'm gonna go. Those swirling whirlings are doing it. You know, the irony of Guns Akimbo is it's very evocative of video games because it literally turns the character and says, like, well, this is your life now. Like, sorry. I'm trying to make clever points while also nervously moving through the zone. So this is peak Pacific Drive right now. But no, so Guns Akimbo, it literally bolts guns to the main character's hands, right? That's a lot of goodies. Oh, and apparently one of our doors is a little bit busted, so I'll take this opportunity for a spot the old sploosh. Any more? Mind. Look, don't judge me. It's glowing red crystals. This resource might as well have been called, you know, Will Obtainium, because Will has to obtain it. No. Thank you. You guys are great, except for when you fuck with my car, and then I get upset. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Those guys drag us over some, kids fight over that over there. Let's get the fuck out of here. Because if they drag us over the spike pit, we're gonna get so many fucking punctures. The point that I'm desperately trying to make with failing is that Daniel Radcliffe's character in Guns Akimbo is forcibly given firearms. Something that happens in so many video games as a standard opening gambit. Like, okay, think about this. How many video games where you start, your character in a cutscene picks up a firearm, but then from that point onwards, you have no choice, right? You don't even have like a melee weapon or an alternative. It's guns and nothing. You better do that shooty gun bang or it's death o'clock. Yeah. It is very memeable. It's not an art house film either. I know I'm making it sound thusly. Oh, sorry, for some reason, I'm just getting hit with spammers today. Let me give you a little snippet of what I keep getting spammed with. Hello, happy Thursday. How's your day going? That's one. Guess who I am, says another. Hello, says about 3 others. Hey, winky smiley face. Oh, one of my favorite ones was, did you get the message from... Oh, who was it? Did you get the message from Dad? I was like, 1, I have not referred to any of my my parental units as just Dad. Oh, Scotty, I don't know if it does, but there is a chance that, you know, my data got sold, so love that for me. But yeah, Jimami, both Guns Akimbo and Far Cry 3 make sure they say something interesting. You know, there's a subtext about, like, cultural appropriation, which I think is interesting in Far Cry 3, which is actually said in a good way. Like, how your character gets this big old tribal tattoo. And how that's... We could get into that, like something fierce. And yeah, I guess both of them hit similar beats. Alright, so we've got this bit here. As our first one. Try and grab those. We're doing pretty good for fuel. We've got 2 spare fuel tanks, so we're just gonna high speed through this. But if you can take anything from Guns Akimbo and Far Cry 3, and admittedly they are big budget productions in that it is okay to make a game where the gameplay loop is very fun, very simple, right? That's fine. Go for it. The thing that's worth noting is that both of them say something on top of being fun. Guns Akimbo's like action choreography is a fucking riot. It is so much fun. Oh, hang on. I'm just gonna... These Adra cars usually have some good shit in them. Again, I get the feeling that I need to be prepared to construct more additional pylons, you know what I mean? Honestly, some days I think it's just fucking cowardice that some of the larger video games we encounter don't try and say more. That I guess whatever they're afraid of in the actually I'm gonna heal myself using this because if we're gonna be bombing around at full tilt, we'll have the ability to pick up goodies. And I guess if we do see like a limb magnet section. That was a repair station. Sorry. Ooh! Oh no! Okay, emergency teleport, activate. How's the car doing? Not too bad. Alright. I know it's a weird one to hyper-focus on, but one of the ones that I'm genuinely still pissed about that they didn't do anything interesting with, Call of Duty Black Ops. Like, they had carte blanche to say some really fucking cool shit about how bad the CIA are, or, you know, 80s style conspiracies. And ultimately that story ends up being so dumb. So dumb. Oh. Agent having a bad time. Sorry, I guess I'm still grumpy about that. And Angelos, you're right. Sorry, Angelos was just saying that, you know, with Call of Duty, they are in the pocket of the military, and that's very true. That's not conspiratorial, like, you know, the Call of Duty series receives large government grants for their representation of modern military staff. And they're not the only ones that get that. So it makes it incredibly difficult for them to say bad things about, you know, the US government. But I don't have to forgive them for it. What is it with that one door just having a bad time? I honestly, like, it amazes me that a hand with many fingers is able to tell more of a gripping story than the most expensive shooty gun bang franchise when it comes to discussing, like, you know, 80s America. Yeah, Moose, you're also very true. Like, having to accept that the modern Transformers movies are a tool of the... Well, not a tool, but they heavily benefit from American military grants, which is why Optimus Prime has a Marine best mate. Hey, Optimus, I thought you'd probably be against this, but okay, alright. He's your new buddy, alright. You know better than me, Mr. Optimus the Prime. Oh, and we're going to refill tanks and repair before we head through, because the next area is the Exploding Bad Times Brigade. This door just... Oh, it's because the battery's leaking. Fucking course. How are we doing? Doing alright. Just a little bit in this if you can before we start using the reserves. Oh, I don't know. You know what it is? It's because I'm still obsessed with the idea of using modern military conflict equipment, modern military hardware to tell non-pro-military stories, you know what I mean? And again, there is nothing wrong with playing a shooty gun bang game where you and your mates are a bunch of squaddies or marines kicking ass. Fucking brilliant. I'm not dissing on that one, it's just... I feel there's so much more you can do with it. The problem is you're always dealing with some nonsense in that. How many of you saw the obvious Japanese propaganda piece, Gate? If you haven't seen it, don't worry. Gate's an anime, and it is about the idea that like a door to another world opens in the middle of Japan, and so they send in the JSDF. But they're only allowed to use like last generation technology so that the people beyond don't steal it. And it's one part like anime shooty isekai. The guy we follow is he's in the military, but he's secretly obsessed with mobile waifu games. It plot-wise boils down to that bit in Civilization when you ruffle stomp another nation that is woefully under-equipped versus. It has some brilliant set pieces of like, you know, helicopters in like medieval sieges, and you know how firearms would change like fantasy battles. Ultimately, it's so propaganda-y, it does me a damage. It hurts. But I found it very, very inspirational because, I don't know, like, the idea of taking that tried and tired a trope of, like, similar to, you know, what have we got at the moment? We've got solo leveling and things like that. You know, monsters and swords and sorcery. What happens if you put, like, modern peeps and just threw them at it with modern kit? God, I know. Sorry, Angelos was saying, imagine if Total War had the balls to do something like that. Fucking right. Though, I don't want to think about that right now, because I actually had a fucking nightmare the other night that I was still working for Rob. And it was really traumatic. I've started to realise maybe Rob was a bad boss. I haven't started to realise, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, with Total War, like, I think Warhammer's the closest we're going to get to with them being experimental. I think whatever we get next is going to be the safest history game they've ever made. God. Anyway, I promised I wouldn't boil any piss. Well, I didn't promise. I know I started to boil piss earlier, and then we got onto better topics. So I want to stay in the happy place, you know. Anyway, this next area is high instability. I'm not going to be able to banter. So if there's anything you want to talk about, bring it up now. Sip the last of me coffee. Oh, but I don't know. I've kind of been obsessed with the idea of this, like, modern military versus fantastic scenarios since we played this modded DayZ server 1,000 years ago, and the way it works was it was kind of like... It was meant to be more RP than mechanical, right? It wasn't an extraction shooter, it was just a modded server. But you and your friendos get dropped roughly in the center of the map, and you have a full loadout. You have a super whooper gun, you have beans, you have medikits, but the amount of zombies and threats is drastically increased. So the thing is, you don't have enough bullets to fight your way out. And you won't be able to scavenge for the bullets and kit that you have. So you make choices in how you interact and how you throw down. And when it does pop off, you know, every bullet you fire is one you won't have if you need to make it out. And the idea is to get to the edge and then extract. Hoffa says apparently the people at Game Dev World started a global games fund. Oh, wait, are we talking about Rami's squad? Game Dev World. If you would be so kind to put that into games news, that would be fucking great. Thank you. Nika, Watto, and welcome. Hello, hello. Well, Dave, if we wanted... Sorry, Dave was saying you can tell the Decepticons are the bad robots because they transform into military vehicles, gets bundled into a van. In an actual Transformers situation, the American military would have struck a deal with the Decepticons like that. Like, would not have taken 2 seconds. So Scotty, yeah, there have been a few that were like advanced zombie mode and stuff like that, but I don't know what it was about that one modded DayZ server that stuck with me, right? Because there was just something about how, given the best kit and, you know, modern military shooty gun bang stuff, and then being put in a situation far beyond that understanding, I don't know. There was just something about it that resonated. I've got high hopes for SCP-5K and some other things like it. I don't know. Maybe it's just nerdy gamer nonsense, right? I've played so many games which was like, you have to go shoot the bad guys, and the bad guys are just some guys. There's only so many ways you can rework that. But, you know, as we've talked a lot about, it's like, I love the engineering and mechanics and the discussion of firearms. I also recognise that they are tools for murder, and that they are fucking scary. Nick picked up the assets again. Kronos sound effects and plugins for sound design. Oh, lovely. Well, Nick, thank you for picking that up on the humble. That was very kind of you. Like, that was fucking cool. And I hate that that's exclamation wiki feed for the partner link. Anyway, I don't know, I've had this on my mind for a while. One project I was pitching that never went anywhere was I wanted to basically do squaddies versus Final Fantasy type monsters. I was fascinated with that idea. Yes, I understand what I'm pitching you is basically what was the film called? It wasn't Armageddon. That's the one with... Oh my god, how have I forgotten it? Basically the concept of... I mean, it was Final Fantasy VIII to an extent. It's just you have, you know, regular people rather than, you know, special multi-weaponed children. Hey, Jimami, I'm there with you. I'm still amazed that no one's done more with the Love, Death, and Robots concept of, you know, mechs for more agricultural uses. Actually, Scotty, I've not watched that show, but it's... I did watch the saga of Tanya the Awful. Again, not a show I would recommend from a moral standpoint. It is bad, but very, very inspirational. The saga of... Is it Tanya the Terrible? Tanya the Awful? A terrible person is reincarnated. Yep, it's isekai time. As a tiny girl in a pseudo... I think it's meant to be pseudo World War One. But instead of it being about, you know... The hook is in this world, there's also, you know, mages and witches that fly around and do combat. And how World War One warfare, trench warfare, changes when you have flying super soldiers going through the air. But yeah, the character that we follow through is evil, and they are... I mean, it's World War One, so it's not quite bad, but they're definitely on the German side for that one. I don't don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other, because we were trying to talk about earlier about shows that and movies that I wouldn't necessarily recommend, but are really inspirational for video games. And Tiny the Evil's definitely up there. Tell you, if we're doing anime recommendations, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Again, it's not amazing. But as a city builder, as an RPG city builder, if you look at it from a gameplay perspective, it is amazing. And I would fucking love it if we could create something like that. We're talking like if you started out as a single monster and then moved up into almost like a Dwarf Fortress style builder. But once you got that down pat, it then moved to a nation-to-nation like political bargaining, and then you could grow your nation, and then that could move on to a larger scale, you know. We're talking some like Spore level shit. Okay. Ascendance of a Bookworm is lovely, and I love it. Like, that's my... I think I've rewatched that like twice. Scotty, Brightburn is a great game if you are not playing as the kid. Like, a horror game where you're dealing with basically young, angry Superman. Holy fuck. Now, we do have this one game that's coming out, which I keep forgetting the name of because I'm a horrible person, where you are living in a town that is being overlooked by this gigantic cop. It's meant to be kind of like a stealth immersive sim where you're avoiding the gaze of this huge guard. Oh yeah, no, and J Post, I'm not dissing anybody enjoying any of these like isekai level stuff, and they've all got a little bit of a spark in them, at least the ones that are worth paying attention. If you want comedy, that time I got reincarnated as a vending machine. Slime is not perfect by any means, but you know what's lovely about Slime? One person decides to make things better, initially for themselves, but ends up making it better for everybody, and it's like, that's cool. I'm sure there are some other bangers in that one. But you know what I mean, friends. Okay. So let me get through A1. This is just going to be a breakneck sprint. There's meteors, magnified explosions. I've just got to fucking run for it.
Headshot.
Oh shit, Nick's the Jarl! What will you do with this power, friend? Sorry, and thank you for letting me waffle on these topics. Like, it's very easy to suggest a video game. Alright, now this is just a straight sprint. I'm gonna charge up the battery in case we need the limb shield. Limb shield is A. If there are any goodies worth having, we'll get them from the next area. Oh shit. Shields up! Clap, clap! Shields up! Clap, clap! Ah. Man, these bunnies do not want to fuck off! Oh. Does the limb shield reflects them? Oh, I love that for us. Get fucked, bunnies. The meteors haven't started, but they will. Oh, I hate that for us. Sorry. You know what? That's not too bad. We've had worse runs. I thought this was going to go way worse. Whee! Zoom, zoom, zoom!
Literally 30 seconds in, red alert shields up. Did someone put Tracker in charge?
honestly, every time I think Riker gets bumped into in the fucking corridor, I was like, oh, shields up! Oh god! Oh, no. But he and Troy did live happily ever after, so can't hate him for that. Okay. Oh, okay. So while Ket's been lurking, hello! It's good to see you, friend. Was saying that while Tanya the Evil, the anime is mid at best, the manga is like top 5 isekai. Thank you. And again, like, if we're talking about this stuff, again, we're talking about stuff that is inspirational. Alright, anyway. We're in an area of perpetual stability. It looks like the well is where we're headed next, so...
This is really it, huh?
Yep.
The end of the road. Soon we'll finally see for ourselves what caused the mass hallucination. And what Tobias and Alan died for.
And whether it was all worth it.
Alright. Let me grab the snacks out of the car. More snacks up here? Yeah. Just in case, you know. Alright. Car's actually looking pretty good, Nick. If we do keep getting zapped. But Nick and Scotty, thank you for the bits. And I'm glad you're all here for our grand finale. If I've got time, friends, we'll do another like a little cheeky run after this or something while we talk about it. Like I said, you got me until 6 PM at least. Now, Nick did want to ask you, friends, what are your favorite deck building video games? I'm going to scratch a few obvious ones, but...
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are you sure we're not there yet?
So help me, Scotty, I will turn this car around. I will turn this car around! And there'll be no escaping the zone for anyone! My personal favourites have got to be Loop Hero. I fucking love that game. God, I miss Storybook Brawl. And I know that was more auto battler than card builder, but it felt that way. And I loved it. Trying to think what else has been on my like absolutely duper must-haves. Roots of Yggdrasil, as I've been talking about. But that's because it's predominantly about building a city. Oh, Ring of Pain, Dustin, that is a great shout. That's a great shout. So, friends, keep listing your deets. Scotty, thank you. Fucking terror. Let's go check out the zone. The car's looking good. So I guess whatever we see through the next area, that's... I think the fact that I'm not seeing any resources to gather here is indicative of this is
Francis.
possible.
Yeah? Thank you for trusting me when you had every reason not to. Getting to this point together with you, it makes me feel like my old self again.
It's been an honor to watch you work, Dr. Turner.
Aw, I didn't call her Offie. Oh. Sorry, I was
These
trying
gamma readings, are they real? I can't even begin to guess what could be outputting this much radiation.
Some sort of energy reservoir.
A massive fission reaction or
A portal.
Atlantis. If this thing really leads us to Atlantis, I'm turning in my PhD.
God, if only Tobias were here to see it.
I would have liked to hear his take on all this. For once.
Oh, Nick mentioned, as no one's talked about it, like Slay the Spire. Absolutely. I mean, no one needs me to say Balatro or Balataro or whatever we're supposed to be saying. I can't quite get up there to grab the goodies. I'm just going to repair the bumper now in case shit pops off. I don't think that's silly. And we do need to say inscription, just because, like, inscription is essentially 3 different deck building games in one game, but each of them are about embracing the chaos. Like, the idea is not to win in a fair fight. The idea is to take the mechanics of the game, break them wide open.
If this really is the gateway to Atlantis, I'm not going in without a P90 in the
All right,
Franco
driver.
Dano.
You're almost to the threshold. Remember,
Hard
Francis
agree.
and I have got your back. Once you get that car to the well, we'll keep the gamma ray burst under control for as long as we can. Whatever happens, whatever state you find yourself in, the arc device will be your safety net. Use it. Get back to us, you hear me?
Ready when you are, driver.
Poor fucking car door is getting cooked by a fucking battery. Well, I said it as Balataro for fucking ages, and I like that name, but apparently Balatro is correct. Bunch of nerds. Okay. Alright, here we go, friends. Alright, we've got 40% on the batteries, that should be enough. We're set for fuel, and we've got a spare can and a bit if it gets bad.
It's opening? Godspeed, driver.
Here we go, friends. Here we go. You died. Science failed. Wake up in a fucking opening to Skyrim. Oh! What the fuck?
Bad time to ask. Is the car
What's
watertight?
the energy output? Damn it, Alan, I'm fine. Light nearly blinded me. Can you read it?
Yeah, let me see. 500 kilojoules? Happy, what is this?
The future. I call it limb waves.
Okay, this is not what I was expecting.
Cast Cora.
I like how the Welsh guy pronounced it Cora instead of Cura. The car, I think, is mostly watertight, but apparently not sanity tight. Should have made that Olympian car, shouldn't I? This is fine. No, God! Swear that fucking spire starts twitching, I'm freaking out.
500 kilojoules ain't gonna cut it. We need 1.21 gigawatts.
1.2 gigawatts! Marty, you little shit!
Coffee
Oh,
delivery.
God!
Alan, gosh. Is it that time already?
So, about leaving Arda. I was thinking, how about by Christmas?
Yes, maybe. I just need to solve this instability issue. I loathe to think about leaving the Olympic Peninsula like this.
There's always more to do.
I know. I'm sorry.
And I love you for it. I'm just wondering if you'll really be able to walk away from all this. It's okay if you can't.
You abandoned the world to work here beside me. Fair is fair.
Len Tech is a world-changing discovery. Your world-changing discovery. Fairness isn't even a consideration.
Aw,
We agreed to have children,
good guy, Alan.
and I'm not having them in this hellhole.
Good, because I'd love to have 8.
Then I hope you're ready to carry at least half of those yourself.
I love you.
I love you.
And nothing bad happened. The end. If the TVs are talking to me, I'm okay with this. Honestly, I thought we'd end up doing like another madcap sprint drive, and this is not where I thought we'd be. Is this a pocket dimension? Is this inside our little mines? Where the fuck are we? These Ardra TVs feel like blinking eyes looking at me. Freaking me the fuck out. Oh, Scotty, thank you for the bit, actually. Moose, really fucking vulnerable. Moose was asking how it feels, like how vulnerable it feels being without the car. All I can tell you is my back muscles will not unclench. Like, you know that thing in some games where you duck down when you're going under something? It feels like that. Constant.
Is this where the architect from The Matrix stumped all the CRTs when they upgraded to OLED?
Fucking probably. Alright, brace yourselves. Hoppa! First time made me jump, not this time! Was prepared.
Tobias, the movers are here. Aren't you packed?
I ain't
If this were a
going.
French horror
The
game,
evacuation
now would be
orders-
when we bury a
Evacuation orders can go to
streetcar.
hell. We leave and we never see the inside of these walls again. All the things we've been investigating, the ripple, the echoes from the swamp, they'll all fade away. I'm gonna stay and chase down these stories, wherever they take me.
Tobias,
Stay here, with me.
Aww. But no, Nick is correct. If this was a French horror game, this would be the part where you fuck the car. Nick, I thought I'd gotten the text-to-speech to be able to say swears, but apparently I've not fixed it. So... I thought I had it fixed. I really did.
you here to quote?
I'm here to deliver the committee's decision. You have been found guilty of doctoring experimental data. This action is in clear violation of artist scientific integrity. Judgment has been rendered. You may stay and work, but your clearance will be lowered to level 3.
So I'm to be a glorified flash cleaner.
Take it as a win. You could have been court-martialed instead.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have liked that much better.
What I like has no bearing on this decision. See you on Monday, Dr. Cook.
Damn. Fucking cold. Fred, you are not still the Jarl. It is currently Scotty Doggy. But because I was fucking clenched butt cheeks over here, I didn't notice. Sorry, Scotty. The Jarldom is yours. What will you do in this fucking pocket dimension? Oh, yeah, no, we had Jarl Nick, and then Scotty retrieved the throne from earlier. recording. Proceed to the nearest...
Driver, do you read me?
Driver, you passed through some sort of opening. We managed to hold it steady, but the energy expulsion is growing. We don't have much longer.
If you can hear this, you need to get back now.
Hey, look! The gang's back together!
Tobias?
I never told you how grateful I was that you stayed behind in the zone. With me. These years, best of my life. Foraging for mushrooms, slogging through swamplands, combing through hours and hours of terrible field recordings. Not a single moment wasted. Thank you. For everything.
It was all you. You made me feel capable. That anything was possible. That I wasn't some second-rate scientist. All my happiness was thanks to you. And I'm afraid of how I'll survive without you.
I'm not. You got this. You always have. Hey, Oppie. Alan sends his regards. And he wants to know why you haven't taken his advice yet. Driver, is that a gumbaroo on your dash? Oh, I'll be damned.
I got you.
Bye. Until next time.
Tobias! Tobias!
Driver, if you can hear this, we can't keep the well stable for much longer. Wherever you are, come back.
I'm trying! Maybe I shouldn't have been dallying. Ooh, pinball. No! Will, focus! Do not play arcade machines in the space beyond. Ooh, they have Gallagher. Ooh, people. Sorry, my little lizard brain is like, ooh, unobtainium. We need that. Scotty is decreeing that we need to continue Jarl Fred's decree of pet tax. More pet tax! This is a steep levy of pet tax today. Not to sound like the American half of me, but this is a lot of taxation without representation here. Whee! Green means go. Kind of miss my car right now, I'm not gonna lie. Buddy! Alright. No map, just road.
Yeah, just a little longer. Hold steady, Francis.
Fucking wee!
Keep those limb bases aligned. Not even a 0.001 deviation, you get me?
Trying.
You got this. You got this, Robo Buddy. Oh, this looks bad. All right, we're flying. We're flying.
The anchor field is wobbling. Oppie, anything we can do to stabilize things on your side?
Punching it as hard as I can.
Shield online. Shields up. Clap, clap. Fucking try me, bunnies. Fucking try me. Oh, that was bad.
Francis, hold tight.
I can't. The phase, it's desyncing.
Driver, punch it.
I'm trying! We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it, we got it! Oh shit, we don't got it! Alright, we're just going in backwards. Backwards into the end of the world. Let's fucking go! Come on, car buddy, you got this! You got this! Go! Oh, fucking hell!
You made it back, driver. All in one piece, it looks like.
no sign of the Remnant's energy signature anywhere in that car. You're free.
But the car's maintained its link to you. Fascinating. We'll never know how far the Remnant's obsessions wormed into your head, but you should be safe from it getting any worse. In theory.
Oppie, I'm sorry. You didn't get to talk to Alan again.
We managed to pull off the near impossible. And the first thing you do is apologize?
Sorry. I mean...
Don't worry, it was Tobias's fault. He hogged the frequency all for himself yet again.
You heard him too.
I did. That means I didn't imagine that last conversation with Alan. And you know what else?
What?
That your theory was right. And Tobias called it. All that bluster, and he ended up showing us scientists a thing or two. Those moments we heard, they were all from the past. Being inside that well somehow allowed the Remnant to access those imprints and replay them. But Tobias's voice wasn't from the past, it was from somewhere else entirely.
But where? And how?
No clue. Do me a favor. Once you figure it out, don't bother telling me. I'm leaving the zone.
I'm sorry, what?
Alan came to tell me goodbye, and that I was forgiven 37 years ago.
No.
I didn't listen. So now, finally, I'm going to take his advice. I should have left the zone a long time ago.
But if we solve this, maybe there's a way to speak to him again.
I heard what I needed to hear. It only took me 37 years to listen. Anyway, all that sounds like a young scientist game. It's not for me anymore. Francis, you decide what to do from here. You can carry the torch and continue the research, or get out of this cursed place and find your own way. It's your decision. And driver, you're free now. You can do what you want from here. But if you'll allow an old woman one last hope, stay here with Francis. There's so many more stories for the zone to tell. And the both of you are young enough to listen. My ears are bad. And I refuse to hear them. I've removed all access restrictions to my systems, Francis. The helm is yours.
Wait, I don't know if I can do this alone.
You're not alone. You've got clear eyes, ears open to the impossible, and the driver. Dr. Cook. Driver. It's been a pleasure. This is Dr. Ophelia Turner. Signing off.
Oppie? Oppie! Really? Well, driver, if you don't mind sticking around with me, Oppie was right. There's still so much of the zone that we still don't know about. But with your help, we can tell those stories. I'm no Oppie, but I'll do the best I can. You're no longer bound to the car. But it's stayed with you, and will continue to protect you as you travel the zone. Go on, then. As long as you're willing to drive, I'm along for the ride.
Fuck yeah. Way! We did it! Fuck, that was good. Oh, who's that? Sarah Ford. They seem fucking cool. Fucking yo. So we get to keep our car best friend. We're not going to get consumed by it. DLC says what? Paul! Shout out to the homies. Fucking yo. We get to keep our car best friend. I was worried the car was going to have like a fucking Kingdom Hearts moment of being like, I have to go now forever, but I'll always be with you, with you. And just a little bit about, and of course, Tobias hogging the mic, hogging the frequency yet again. Honestly, Sarah, I thought it would spit us out on the other side. Like, just leaving us where we were when we started. Like, in that crappy little car. Maybe a kind of a... Maybe leaving us in this, like, did it really happen type scenario. Who knows, right? Or I don't know, maybe we finally closed the well. But I guess that's the beauty of this story, right? You know, we found our little place in the zone. We made friends with our little car. And we've gotten to stay with it, you know? The curse is lifted. And that does mean that my little dumbass can keep going if I wanna. Scotty says that the car is going to leave you. It should recycle itself and turn back into scrap, rubber, and 42 barrels of putty. That certainly would be a surprise ending. And friends, I mean, I don't got to be anywhere for another hour, so we can talk about this. I might hit some of the low baby places while we're chatting, because I do want to explore the whole zone. Yeah, or Jamami that, I don't know, maybe like Oppie and Francis and Tobias were just the ways in which the Remnant was telling us stories. The reason why we never meet them is because they're either echoes or reflections or something. And just, I did get all the podcast episodes, which I'm very, 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 very proud of. The last one I picked up, I should not have gone to grab because it was during a very bad time. the real treasure was the putty we applied along the way. Studio Pets! Lord Bunny Gilgamesh. All hail Lord Bunny Gilgamesh. Happy the Woody Wagon, Bilbo Wagons, and Python. Ha! I love that. Fucking yo. But what an incredible game. I'm so happy with how this has come together. I'm so happy that we got to play through all this together. I really fucking hope they give us some DLC, some post-launch, because we fucking deserve it. It's a beautiful game. And we're back in here. I'm back in the fucking building! Oh, I've got a lot of car to repair. Alright. That was really fucking good. And yeah, like, so friends, like, I've got an hour, so I reckon we can hit up, like, one of these little question marks. Just have a little trundle about, you know. Sadly, I do need to nip to the loo again. None of you told me that living healthy means I have to piss every hour. It's the worst. But I'd love to talk about this some more. And Nick was mentioning that the game dev world and Rami's apparently, like, announced some publishing deal stuff. So like, I'd like to have a look at those while we go through. Yeah, I'll hoard some cosmetics. I'll get it done. Actually, I think if I have the resources to spend, we can unlock the Cosmetico-matic over this way. Where is it? Yeah, the deco vendor. Need some more limb chips, but we've actually got the stuff to make it. I need shitloads of marsh eggs to make the repair station. Fucking good game. so glad I got to share this with you all. So please don't go anywhere. I really want to talk about this game some more, and we'll have a little trundle and whatnot. I just desperately need to nip to the loo. Yeah, no, Scotty, I broke the seal early. That's my problem. It's not that I had 2 pints of coffee. No, I broke the seal. Hello, hello. Thank you all for waiting. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to be saying about Pacific Drive that I haven't already said. This encapsulates so many elements of this space that make these games so special. And you, I know, love you too, Carl. Oh God. I think that might be. Sorry. The idea that your base is also your adventure, it's also your friend, that it all. That it all works in tandem and is part of the very story you tell is just so impressive. I'm still impressed by the thing we talked about earlier of how the Remnant's curse is reflected in the gameplay mechanics, and it really does feel thusly. And it takes a place that feels familiar and makes it alien. This does for forests what the oldest house did for open plan offices. And that's no small feat. You know that, I know that. Helps. The soundtrack absolutely fucking slaps. This was such a good game, and I really feel that pull to just get the car packed and rush out there again, you know. But that's no small feat, you know. Since we saw this announced, God knows how many years back, I have been looking forward to playing this with my whole heart, and boy has it been worth that wait, you know. I do want to take a moment to dunk on all the old men who were like, oh, it's so difficult and you can't save when you want to. Who had a Whinger-palooza at the initial concept of this game. Not in its actual implementation, but the concept of this game. I will be mocking them for it for many, many years to come. You insulated door. So, Jamami, I'm glad it comes across also from watching. What's so fascinating about it is when you think of other games that have similar levels of crafting. Oh yes, don't forget it has flags. Yeah, but the people complaining about the flags are individuals whose opinions just do not matter in the scheme of things, you know? But yeah, like, I don't know, it's one of these things that seems so easy now we're looking at it enacted, right? One of my favourite Dawn of War games, I can't remember which one it is because I get the names mixed up all these times, but it was one where, it was Dawn of War, old school Dawn of War 1, where you build bases build units, but it had a campaign mode screen where you move from area to area and attack. If someone attacks you, your base is already built. It is how you left it. And that was the game that really resonated with me. I think one of the things where Ark Survival Evolved really fell down in its storytelling was you had to keep going to new zones and starting again. Sure, you take your character through, but ultimately your character is just a series of skills. I mean, everybody in the Ark looks like a horrific genetic failure. Either a Dorito or some kind of strange cannonball squat creature. Like that, your character isn't really your vessel. So what does carry you through on Ark? Well, it's your favourite dinosaur. It's your base. It's your home. Right? I feel that having to start again on each map definitely posed such a great big challenge. And I'm not dissing on it, it's just these are my reads. What this game has realised is that all that time and effort and building and focus Oh, okay. Nick, I didn't know that, so thank you for telling me. But with this, all that attention and focus is all about the car. You know, hell, the base building in terms of the garage is very, very rudimentary, right? We unlock something on the tech tree, we pop it on there, jobs are good. Like, it doesn't need to be anything complex. However, it's not about this place. Might as well get the powered bumpers and stuff while we can. Jamami says that it was Dark Crusaders when I was talking about. Now, Scotty was saying the no save thing means you have to decide whether stuff is actually worth getting. You can't easily go around collecting 100% of the stuff in the area, and that's an underused mechanic. That's true. Scotty, one of the reasons why I don't tend to stream too many DayZ-like titles is that after it moved from the mod to the standalone, they added a mechanic, as well you know, where you don't open a cupboard and there's a UI and you take the beans out. You have to physically find the beans in the world, which at first blew people away. Like that shit was genuinely revolutionary when it was suggested. But then what happened was that people playing stopped focusing on the actual game itself and stopped living in the space and just focused on looking under tables. You know, it's watching somebody who's been playing a shooty gunbang game for a while, you know, as in that, like, that day, they no longer look at the items in the inventory. They're just hoovering around, like, looking for items and occasionally looking up. You know, the focus becomes, like, grab every item. And this kind of turns around and goes, hey, closing time, James. The zone is unstable. We told you. Time to fucking go. Sorry, I sniggered at the chronodilator. Fuck it, let's get the deco vendor. Let's do it. Give me 3 limb magnets. Ah, sorry, 3 limb chips. Okay, I actually can't do that. Never mind! Now, as multiple friends here have been on the receiving end of reviews what don't get it, it can be very critical. Sorry, it can be very personal to hear those, but it's also worth noting that, like, journalistic reviews aren't the be-all and end-all that they were. Hell, journalistic reviews aren't even the main moneymaker of journalistic outlets right now, so I don't critique those individuals too harshly. But what this does is it makes you have to make a choice as you hit each region, like, how much am I going to loot? How much am I going to raid? You know, the perpetual stability areas are fucking brilliant, because you can just hit them and be like, alright, now it's time to just strip mine everything, get all the plastic, let's fucking go. You know? Probably gonna hit E2, just trundle over here. But I don't know. And Scotty, no, you are right that in the early days of DayZ, if you didn't find some bottled water and a tin of beans in your first, like, hour, you're just dead. You're just gonna die of starvation. Like, and we've learned a lot from those days, you know. Now, the thing that Nick and I believe it's Harmonious was talking about, I did have a look. So earlier on, it was mentioned that Game Dev World. If you haven't heard of Game Dev World, this was Rami's attempt to do GDC better. And by which I mean, it was a series of talks from game creators around the world that was free to observe. Okay. It was free to observe, and it paid the speakers. Hell, all the speakers were sent a laptop and set up so that everybody could have a quality, even if they were in, you know, regions of the world where there's a lot less resources available. So it was announced. Hang on, let me find the link. Here we go. It was announced that the Global Games Fund is going to be a side element of GameDev.world. So I'm having a look at this, and initially, seems real cool. You can get anything from $5,000 to $50,000 to develop a prototype and or prospective pitch. The minimum deliverables for funding are a prototype with mock-ups of art style or a vertical slice with art style implementation. This also requires a clear production plan, including budget and timeline for development of a full title. At Global Games Fund discretion, funding may be made available directly or with agreed upon milestones. Alright, you know what? That's sensible. If you don't have a business plan and you're asking people for money, you're going to want one of those. And a vertical slice with art style implementation is what I'd recommend you be doing. But this is where it gets interesting. So the Global Game Dev Fund will be recouping, and they have 3 ways in which they do this, and this is where it gets interesting. So the first time is a one-time 300% buyout at time of finding funding deal. So basically you pay them back 300% of whatever you took when you sign a deal. So if I'm Will, the super indie publisher, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen your vertical slice, this is great, let's do business deal, pow 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 pow, because that's how you do business with the finger guns. You would need to pay Global Game Dev 300% what they gave you. Not awful, a lot of money, you could potentially negotiate that with business will. So if you borrowed 5k, then hang on, where's my fucking calculator? Moose has already done it. So yeah, so if we took if we took 50k, we'd need to pay back 150k, and could write that into a deal. Nick says, it's a bank loan with an incredibly high interest rate. Yes. The next one, and this is where it starts to get interesting. So a one-time 100% buyout of signing with reduced revenue share against developer revenue no higher than 30%, and with a maximum of 500 initial investment. So if I'm understanding that right, on this deal, you pay back everything you took upon signing. So you took 50k from game dev, you signed with Super Will. Super Will, you then give game dev that 50k back, and then I don't know what reduced revenue share means, but apparently a rev share no higher than 30%. So let's assume worst case scenarios. Let's assume 30% up until 500% of the initial investment. So that would be 250,000 paid out over 30% of revenue. Right? Is my math good? Math people, tell me if I'm mathing. Whilst we're doing that, so a high percentage revenue share against developer revenue no higher than 50%, and then recoup until after. Okay, and so the last deal is you take 50k, you pay back nothing, but Game Dev World gets 50% of your revenue. Gets 50% of your revenue until recoup, and a revenue share against the dev no higher than 30% after recoup. So in that last deal, you don't pay them back, but they get 50% of your cut until they make 50k. Then they get 30k after that. That's 30% after that. Right? Right? The term recoup expires after 3 years, the launch of a title. If a title has not recouped at any point, the remaining debts and conditions are waived. I mean, that's cool. That last clause is very unlikely. Usually if you don't pay back a publisher, the publisher goes, it's mine now. It's mine. Scotty says the Imagine 50k is graduating milestones on that too. Well, it says milestones are discretionary. So it's like, if like a group of us got together, like me and Sarah and Nick and people who have delivered titles already, we probably wouldn't be under the same milestone discretions. But if 4 Ewoks got together, with having a limited grasp of culture, understanding language, and having little Ewok hands, they would probably have to work to a milestone requirement. Chop chop! Oh, chop chop! Let me tell you, that would make fucking GDC so much more entertaining. A squad of just Ewoks running around, occasionally eating an executive. Because remember, Ewoks eat people. They're cute and fluffy, but they are not herbivores. Okay. So the next part is apparently they're going to collaborate with publishers, platformers, and investors. Rami's got the contacts, but like, and there's nothing about claiming of IP, although from that point I would want to see the contract, because right now I'm just reading front-facing terms on a website. I do eat meat, and I do have quite a lot of facial hair. Angela's just saying, implying that you are not an Ewok. Question. Is an E-girl and an Ewok from the same genealogical family tree? I'll leave you with that thought for the rest of the evening. Okay. But there's also things about like mentorship here and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, Angelos, my apologies. You are correct. The big thing I'm seeing here is what happens if you don't get signed. Like, you can buy out for 150k at any point. And if you don't, it expires after 3 years. So if you pitch a game and nobody touches it, so Nick, I know what you mean there, because out of all of these, the most likely that someone's going to take is the no payback, the no paysy backsies, where it's all about that initial funding. Sorry, what Nick was saying was they take issue that these contracts could become, or would become, a limpet on your work after the initial prototype. So they're not doing any publishing work, they're not helping you with marketing, it's just technical and business support. Well, technical and business advice, right? They're not under any obligation to continue to help. No QA, no community, no post-launch, right? Because usually, like, the publisher does two things. Gives you money and does the shit you either don't want to do or can't afford to do. QA, localization, you know, marketing, PR, community if needs be, like, although ideally you should keep community in-house, but that's in the story. Like, this is a 30% recoup for 3 years. And that's 3 years after launch of title. Oh shit! All terms of recoup expires 3 years after launch of title. And the title is not recouped at this point, any remaining debts are waived. So you have to launch. You have to sign. And Moose, you are correct, like, at least knowing how game dev world is seeking to operate, these are meant to be for people that don't have access to the same kind of, the people in different regions from us that don't have access to the same kind of funding. So the two things that I can take away from this is, one, you have to launch. If you sign with Global Games Fund, you have to launch. Also, here's a sneaky one. Mentorship is fully arranged by the Global Games Fund and covers topics such as creative design, publishing, production, marketing, and other design. Other mentors were made available on request. Mentorship is optional and not required, but a developer's willingness to participate in mentorship, the Global Games Fund sees as relevant to the title's success and is used as part of the risk assessment process for funding. Because, like, like, 50k USD is not a small amount of money. But 50k USD in a region which has weak currency is going to be a very, very bad time. I don't know. I wonder how the Global Games Fund's revenue share would affect your negotiations with publishers. Oh, and Quasi, I'm glad you introduced a group of friends to Snail Sim. You know you got to take them to the Viking boat, right? Like, you gotta flex our house for us. Sorry, that hiss was unrelated. Actually, no, Nick, you are correct. It does say developer revenue. And Vulture Pony, Watto and welcome.
Go lay down. No.
So, I'm fucking torn on this one. Because here's the thing. This is designed to be a deal for people in parts of the world that don't get access to the same kind of funding. Right now, very few people have access to funding at all, let alone regions outside of, like, you know, North America, Europe, that kind of thing. And, like, the person heading it up is Rami, who has been, like, an advocate for good in the industry. Amos is trying to get funding.
Come here. No.
Hey, Cold Ankles. Watto and welcome. But, like, I'm not saying this to be a jerk. It's just, I have friendos in the industry who I love them dearly and I will fight and bleed for them. But in business, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Right? You don't get to survive in the game dev space by being bad at business. And I'm trying to think, I don't think there's a way in which this would be done if it didn't make sense, you know? I don't know. I don't think it's a for-profit thing, but also, like, what's the saying in God we trust, everyone else pays cash. I think about that saying a lot. And, like, I'm processing this information the same speed as you. So, like, you know, Rami's been fucking good to me throughout my whole career. Like, for those that don't know, when I went through having to be a fucking tech company stooge for a while, you know, it really upset me because I wasn't about that fucking bullshit tech life. I live video games. I don't live, you know, unhinged, unsustainable tech bollocks. And, you know, I sat down and spoke with Rami about it one GDC when I was really upset. Oh, and Angel Cleaner, Watto and welcome. And he was like, yo, you know, we've all had to work jobs we didn't want to. We've all had to do shit we prefer we didn't have to. And it was very comforting in a time I really needed that. But so Nick, I think what's making me pause is that the target audience for this. Oh no, my limb shield! Unreliable. The target audience for this is a group of people that don't have access to other things. So, I think what's causing me to be heavily scrutinous of this is, like, the people who would take these deals don't have the option of taking a different deal. And Angel Kalina, some days that's all you need. The only thing I was going to mention, I guess, for Angel Kalina and peeps who have moved into the Seattle region, is that while right now everything is super shiny, well, okay, it's a little bit chilly again. January is real, and while we haven't had a bad fire season in a while, oh, what the shit! Come back here, you little bastard! fucking bunnies. I didn't even know they could do that. Just as a quick FYI, if you have funds, picking up things like either box fans or a little AC unit or an air purifier or something like that, it's better to have it and not need it in the event that we have another fire season than to need it, head to the store and find out they are stupidly expensive. I don't know! Yes, Angel... and Sarah, that was a fucking bunny. Fucking... Why is it... It wasn't even a good bunny. It's a mean bunny. And also, Moose, Nick, like, when talking about these kinds of deals, that they're all very, very important, you know. It's very, very important to discuss them. You'll remember when Raw Fury were like, hey, here's how all our deals work. And everyone was like, oh my god, these are terrible. But at least they put it out there and it became a thing of discussion. Ah, needs one coral. Ah, needs one coral. Ooh, a stiff shirt. No, I need the eggs for the repair station. Anti-theft backpack. I do laugh at that one. Okay, so Angel Clean, you do have a little AC unit and air purifier. Good. Because what happens is people forget that fire season happens, or that it gets stupid hot for sometimes like a week and change out here, and at that point the surge pricing on AC units and fans is ridiculous. But yeah, I think these kind of discussions about biz dev stuff are important. And what I was trying to say before my thread dropped out of my head is that I trust Rami implicitly in the real, but I also know that Rami is very, very good at business. And being good at business does not come from being altruistic. So... I mean, what we've talked about in the past is the idea of, creating, the concept of co-ops and things like that, where revenue is used to pay people a good living wage, and excessive revenue is used to pay people a living wage when things are bad. It is possible that if Game Dev World was operating like a full-on publisher, they could create a sustainable fund. But this is kind of like a... I'll give you £5 now, but you're going to give me 15 quid back later. And for each one of those $5, that funds 5 more people. As that funds another person, but then that is still 15 more bucks coming back. I mean, it's annoying that we're not seeing incentives like this from operations like Epic, but they have the Epic grants, and those are much, much larger. We've got so many publishers out there that could fund this kind of operation without even breaking a sweat. But that's not how they look at it, because number must go up. Dollar out must always equal $2 in. I don't know. A very good friend of mine has been talking about sustainable publishing for a while, and I'm very much getting to the point of homie, I love you. I need you to do the thing now, rather than talk about the thing. Because I would... Oh, it's in park. Because I would fucking love to be able to have healthcare. I want a moose, indeed. For the sustainable publisher, creating something that already brings money in and out every month. That's the trick. And or creating a good, solid back catalogue. Well, so Scotty, that's the thing about that wording that makes me a little go, Because one thing it says is that recoup takes place over 3 years after launch, right? if you take 50k from this fund and you never launch, what happens? Right? I don't know. Like I said, all we've got really is the cliff notes. You know, the specificity of the contract. I guess the only thing I'd add is that anybody that does sign that, like, go over it with a lawyer. Go back with... excuse me.
I just realized today that the Oregon Trail is the first roguelike.
Go back with changes. Don't accept first deal. And yeah, oh, sorry, Bismarck, I had my headphones out. I'm so sorry. Bismarck says they realise that the Oregon Trail is the first roguelike. Do you want me to be petty? Or, you mean, you're not... The Oregon Trail is a roguelike, yes. Technically, the first roguelike is NetHack. But that's just me being a pedantic little shit. Oh, actually, we can check the timings. Okay. Oh, actually, so Bismarck, technically, Rogue is an Oregon Trail-like. I like that. I like that. Now, Moose, that could be a way in which it's offset. The wording was very nebulous, but it did look like if you sign up for this Game Dev World Fund, that you will be part of Game Dev World and you'll be mentoring people, right? So that essentially your time and your skills are taken into consideration as part of that offset. And like that. That makes sense. You know, if the goal is to create more resources for people, like if the goal is to make Game Dev World a genuine, I don't want to say competitor, but a genuine alternative to GDC, the money's got to come from somewhere, or at least the talent, right? And if the talent is there because they have signed deals, I find this shit fascinating. But yeah, so to Bismarck and those of you who have just joined us, Watto and welcome. We finished Pacific Drive. There's still some places to go, and honestly, considering that we got talking about this and there's now like, I've got about like 15-20 minutes before I have to get my arse in gear if I want to have anything resembling a life outside of this home. Well, no, so Moose, it says mentoring is available, but how much you will... At least my reading of the contract was that how much you're prepared to be a mentor will be taken into consideration with your application. Or at least, like I said, at least that was the reading I got from it, you know? Nick's saying that the business side of stuff is always fascinating because of my headache. And it's constantly like, should I just find a co-founder or two? I mean, shit. Like, an angel investor in this current environment would be fucking great. So the amount of stuff we could stash in here is amazing. Should probably upgrade this one to a pneumatic locker as well. I'm allowed to. Oh, I need to make a circuit board. Like, I don't think I'll be continuing much more of this game on stream, but I'm definitely going to keep playing it myself because it's fucking good. Get that full old achievement run. Unless there's something that's like, finish the game without getting hit once. And I'll have to say no. I can't do that one specifically. Alright. I'll do this one here, because that way, anytime we're hoovering stuff up, we can just dump it in there. Anyway. So, Moose, it could be that the people looking for mentorship at the same time as funding would be something where they can decrease... Oh no, I broke it. Push the wrong button. It could be that they want mentors to stop, like, young, inexperienced teams from spiraling. You know what I mean? There are some individuals who, you know, we don't need to get into the specifics of it, but they attempted to do a non-publishing funding operation a few years back, where they didn't have oversight on the team that they funded. And then the team never delivered because junior teams don't have the experience. And if they don't have the fear... And Scotty, you know what? That's an interesting way of thinking about it. There's a big difference between a mentor and a investment liaison. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting one to look at. I would want to see... I would want to see the contract before I advise others, you know what I mean? I don't... From some of the deals I have heard of, and some of the things I have seen, this is by no means the worst. At least from the information we have been given, there's no retention of IP, there's no, you know, we seize assets, at least from what we've seen. And all of the numbers are very clear and upfront. There's very few if-else clauses. But that may change because, again, all we're seeing is front-facing elements. You know, on the one hand, you know, Rami has been a good industry friend, whose, you know, advice and conversation I hold in the highest regard. But in the other breath, like, Rami hasn't had to sell a game in a long time. And I mean, shit, I'm no different. I've tried to find funding for other people, but, like, it's been a very long time since I was at like a do-or-die type state. You know what I mean? It's been a very long time since that. You know, I can advise, I can certainly discuss, but if I was the one throwing around money, how much of my personal biases that I've accrued over the last 6 years would be going into that, right? What we were talking about earlier about, like, you know, Warren Spector and fucking Richard Garriott and people like that, like, it's different being in the trenches than it is being in a position of privilege, and the longer you are in that without having the means and knowledge to check yourself, I don't know. And this isn't a critique of Rami. Like, this is just, I don't know, I'm musing out loud. I'm constantly afraid that my view of the industry will become skewed and I won't be able to be useful or helpful. Most of the people that fucking look like me will speak with absolute authority, even though they are in incredibly privileged positions. For example, but not limited to, having an already successful title and a successful side hustle all rolling at the same time, whilst, you know, discussing the pros and cons of, you know, of funding and publishers and things like that. It's very different when you don't have to worry about where your next rent check is coming from, right? The discussion about but the discussion of how to find money is very different when you're talking about, as I do a lot, the hypothetical versus the either you find this or the game don't get made. You know? Survivor bias o'clock, yo. Angel Cleaner, I try and be aware of it. No one is perfect, and, you know, I'm glad we have our Sea of Thieves chats. You know, I hope that, you know, thanks to Nick and Kyle and peeps, that helps keep me grounded. I hope, anyway. I guess the other thing is I have no qualms in admitting when my theories are wrong. I don't need to pretend to be right all the time. But that's another story. Anyway. I will say I can't see a situation in which Rami's going to fuck over somebody from a non-English language country. That's one thing I can say. Because ultimately, if we're just being like mercenary dickheads, Rami is now a solo individual, you know, who is known for being a good person, an advocate, right? If they fucked over somebody from, you know, one of the regions that they have fought for, that would be a very big deal in our industry. Like, and I think that's something to take into consideration. It's like if I hit somebody's nan with a car. Actually, I probably could have thought of a better example there. I'm very sorry, but you know what I mean. Now, Moose, that's definitely somewhere where I try to be. One thing I have noticed is that because of the way the industry and games media space works, is we tend to do a lot of like survivor bias. We don't tend to talk about the useful knowledge from failing. It's very hard to get a GDC talk from a game that did not succeed. And like, one of the reasons I don't put myself forward for discussions about community management and stuff like that is, for like panels, is because I never got the chance to prove my theories proper. I'm still convinced that they make a good sense, and I've seen people do it well. Like, I've seen other people enact my games industry theories and succeed, which makes me feel real good. But like, I can't sign up to do a fucking GDC talk. Like, I got no proof. I'm just a moss-covered little shaman. Sorry, I'm leaping around. Nick is very good. Nick is very correct in that Rami has a big megaphone and is a very, very sharp individual. So someone would have to be very stupid to try and screw Rami over. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, this has been a really good talk. So friends, about like 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to roll credits and bring it to a close. But if you've got any thoughts or feels on this one, then... Andrew says, is the Longship not a community? Well, it's not a cult. Well, here's the thing. Because I am both the community manager and the flag, essentially, I'm not a personality. I don't have a famous YouTube show or what have you, like somewhere else on the internet. You know, most of you I know or have met or have found. You know, we're a weird little tribe for sure. And so, in terms of community management, there is one thing that all CMs usually have to do that I don't, which is prove it, right? I don't have to spend a huge chunk of my week writing fucking sentiment reports or like engagement graphs. I see it, I know it, I understand it. It also means that when things aren't going as they should, I have no one to blame. But that's another story. But honestly, community management is less about managing communities and more about proving to people that don't get it that you're doing it. Right? Like how a large proportion of working in PR is proving the value of what you have done. JPO, sentiment report, still bullying me. The Longship are still bullying me. Squarepeg, oh boy, do I love engagement graphs. And, like, it's useful data. Like, if TwitchCon had any value, I'd probably do a talk on, like... Hang on, do I still have the... Can I use the zoom here? No. Oh, yeah. I almost didn't see we had a tiny pirate ship at the front. Learning how to read engagement graphs and stuff like that is very important because, like, people don't always tell you what they want. And especially in the realm of Twitch, people just go away if they don't like you. No one calls you a twat and flips the table. People just turn off, just zoom out. So learning how to read those graphs can be very important. But also sometimes spikes in viewership are not spikes in engagement, right? I'm trying to think of a good example. Ket used to do this trick where at the end of a Longship stream, I'd raid into Ket's stream while Ket was playing Terraria. And if you end up in the top 3 slots, your numbers jump by like 50. Because the people ambiently scrolling the Terraria wiki count as views. But that's not engagement. And engagement is a wanky way of saying, hello, this conversation we're having here, this is engagement. If I'm like, hey, what's your favorite thing about Nick on the Sea of Thieves? And 5 of you all go, that time that he blows up Will, vomits on Will, stabs Will. Right? Those 5 people, that's engagement. You're not just ambiently here, you're actively part of the conversation, right? Sorry, anyway. Quasi says, as you said hello, the cat jumped up to lick your face. He is engaged. Best kitty! Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. So, like, I'm gonna keep an eye on this Game Dev World Fund. You know, for those of you that are not in the UK, North America, Canada, consider this. You know, or if you are from, you know, a difficult background that denies you access to traditional funding in years where there would usually be funding to get, like, look into this, all right? Because here's the thing, you know, the 50k for a team of 5 is not a lot of money. 50k for a team of 1 is a lot of money. You know, that's a year just to develop a vertical slice. And assuming that you get that money at the right time, then goddamn. Well, Angel Kalina, have a lovely rest of your day, and to be continued. Anyway. Thank you for letting me talk on this. I genuinely find this stuff fascinating. And if you've got any questions about funding and stuff, like, honestly, ask me and Nick tomorrow on the Sea of Thieves, because we will both talk about that ad infinitum. Also, just as an FYI, for those of you that do play Sea of Thieves, it is a Super Whooper XP bonus weekend. So gold and rep will be doubled. Yeah, no, Scotty, actually, I know the bloke that did Falconeer and the follow-up game, Tomas, and he is so lovely. I saw him for about 7 minutes at GDC, and he was so happy and so drunk. I wish that gentleman all the success. Nick says, and I quote, "If you come with technical questions about game dev, I'll be very excited and make sure to vomit on Will." Okay, you know what? That is a lovely sentiment to leave it on. And I guess just as a cap, the same reason why I try and be aware of my privilege in games industry is also the same reason why I say fucking thank you so many times at the end of a stream, because here is the thing. I talk about this stuff a lot. What keeps me alive is you lot. I am so lucky to have that. And I will be telling you multiple times a day because it's fucking true. Okay? I am in a position of privilege. I am extremely lucky. And I hope that I never lose sight of that, you know? So, to that end, despite the fact that you're being terrors earlier, I do need to say thank you to the following people. Because if it wasn't for you lot gifting subs, donating stuff, and throwing bits in my dumb face, I would not be here. I was about to say die. No, I wouldn't. I'm too spiteful to die, and only the good die young. But to Danny Sink, thank you kindly. To whoever gifted Viking Ussy and Train Ussy 1 million years dungeon, straight to Shadow Realm with you. To Down Under Dwarf, Ikoa, Mr. Squarepeg, Mahoffman, Angelos, Snuggly Burrick, Fred, Titan's Advocate, and Bismarck Mech. Whether you were gifted a sub by House Carl or celebrating massive sprees, fucking thank you, alright? Look at this little number! This is a big number, this is not a small number! Now to Scotty Doggy, Erriman, Nick of Occult Game Dev, Akira Zero, Pun Spectre, Vanderbeast, Wolfcrab, Fearless, J Post, Gilmore Greyjoy, and Favor 6. Bits and donations are the hugest thing that keeps me alive and lets me keep this fucking household afloat. I cannot say thank you enough. Even if you were trolling me, posting terrible jokes, or fucking with me, thank you. And not just to Caffeine and Rhymes and Moose, but also to Lizzie T. Powell. As a mod team, I could not ask for a better squad. So seriously, thank you. And J-Post with a little After Effects. Alright. Let's see which of our friends are kicking about right now. I got a choice for you of Balatro, FTL, or why did it have to be that? Or Lethal Company. Actually, let me just make sure all these people are rolling. But those are the choices I have for you. Chaos in Space. Space Chaos. Or some cards. You like some Balatro? Alright, well, Nick, you were quickest on the draw, and I need to get my arse in gear. But that does mean we're going from game dev to game dev. So our good friends at the Unrequited Library, seriously, they have done the funding dance from multiple angles and understand a whole bunch of the games industry. So, yo, if you are interested, hit them up. Like, sorry, if you're interested, hit them up. No. You should ask them about their experiences and talk to them about industry stuff because they are a lovely individual and very knowledgeable. Restless Roots, don't put down your raiding tools. We're zipping around. The Unrequited Library calls. It's a raid within a raid. But seriously, no, our good head librarian is a lovely individual, also comes from a community management background, and fucking gets it. Restless Roots, don't worry about it. We're not kidnapping you. You're just coming to join us. Just don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. All right, Jamami, go get some excellent sleeps, friends. To be continued. All right, to be continued. Let's get that going. And once again, Angelos, if you chat to the rest of the Pacific Drive team at any point, please pass on my thank yous. It's so fucking good. I love this game so much. I don't know how I'm going to get a Pacific Drive tattoo, but I will try. Yeah, Dustin's right. We're not kidnapping you, Roots. This isn't Life Eater. You're all good. Get a tiny beat-up station wagon tattoo. That would be good. God, I want so much more ink. My new life goals. Indeed. Dustin, until we sail tomorrow, friends, have a lovely rest of your evening. If you see me in Discord at 2 o'clock in the morning, that means I am drunk. Approach with caution. Alright. Love to you all, friends. Have an excellent rest of your evening, and to be continued. Good night.